Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day, day number 5 of the regional finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5. So finally, after such a long journey, we have come to the moment where we will have our victors amidst us. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Blood Legion? Is it going to be INES? Is it going to be God's Reborn or someone else? So we still have 4 matches for you lined up for today, but we will also be moving along with our conversation with my analyst and my co-caster. That's going to be Necro. So Necro, final 4 games, 2 matches of Erangel, 1 Sanhok and 1 Miramar. What do you think is going to happen today?
I mean, it's literally the final day, you know, and this is where you do or die. Each and every single team will have to put the best on the table. Of course, the guys on the bottom of the leaderboards, I mean, they're not really going to be having, you know, a really good chance unless they just get like absolute 4 chicken dinners back to back. Then maybe there's a little bit of chance for them. Or then also it's like kind of questionable. But still, overall, taking a look at the, you know, from top 8 position, the point difference is not that big. And anything can happen, you know. 1 chicken dinner can change the phases. And of course, between KSX and God's Reborn, there's a massive rivalry building up.
Yes, and since it's the final day, we might get to see some targeting, some teams here and there. But, well, all these teams are fighting for one thing, a chance to represent themselves and their country in the PUBG Mobile Pro League. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 slots from the Bangladeshi region, rather 3 teams, the top 3 teams will be qualifying for the PMPL.
Indeed, of course, and the top 3 teams, of course, as I was talking about, there's the rivalry building up between KSX and God's Reborn, of course. But now even INES is in those close quarters, and God's Reborn might be also taking their position down. It doesn't really matter. Even if they go down in 3rd position, it's still going to be, you know, securing them that spot. But also, one thing over here is that the top 8 teams are going to be trying their best as well today. One wrong mistake can literally cost them this spot.
Yeah, I mean, one small mistake can be very detrimental to them. But right now, let's take a look at what's on the line in terms of money that we are talking about. And it is the massive prize pool of $29,200, out of which the top 3 teams will be getting the majority of that, and also the slots for the PMPL.
Indeed, of course, the slots for the PMPL. This is what the top 3 people are fighting for. And overall, yesterday, Blood Legions wasn't really able to show up, you know. They weren't really able to open up. But certainly, it doesn't really matter because they have literally just frozen their spot on the top 1 position, of course. But we did see a really decimating performance coming in from God's Reborn.
Yeah, I mean, God's Reborn really made that comeback happen. Even KSX have been so consistent,
they're just consistent
throughout. So, so a lot of changes can be made here and there in terms of the point standings, because we have seen that happen. We have seen the points table, you know, being so woggly in terms of how teams are, you know, positioned themselves. So how do you do that? You earn your points. So let's take a look at the point system that we have, which is pretty much standard since the last PMPL. And, well, for the first position gets 15 and so on, reduces where 13 to 16 just get that 0 points. So for every single kill that you get, you have that 1 point. So teams will be going aggressive. A lot of teams, say teams like Max, we did see them, you know, kind of stepping away from their bubble, just going after squads and trying to hurt the others in the process, you know, trying to get some collateral damage done. And we're going to see a lot of it today from what I really anticipate, because that has been customary. So we can see some other teams, you know, dropping off at someone else's drop spot, trying to contest, trying to take them down early on.
Of course, tackling early on is going to be a big thing, because, of course, in the early phases, none of them really have good loots, and this is where you actually have a best chance if your team has a good loot, of course, and the preferable guns that you really want to fight with. But the main fact I really want to focus here is Log 1. Now, they're certainly not really in those kill numbers, you know, they're not really doing well. But certainly somewhere down the line, they're really doing good in those positioning. But also yesterday, Log 1 wasn't really able to show up in those late game phases as well. But now this time, Log 1 will have to change something here. They will have to change the way they play.
Yeah, of course. And now we will have to take a look at all the teams that are participating for one last final time. And only three teams will be qualifying ahead. And the winners will be, of course, declared. But right now, taking a look, INES, Blood Legion, and yeah, Exentric Infinity. I think they've taken quite a fall. You know,
yeah, they've taken
after the second day's amazing performances. They've not really been able to step up, and the same can be said for IPGX. I mean, they've pretty much been in the bottom of things. They did manage one chicken dinner, but that was just about it.
Indeed, yeah, that was just about it. But now, I mean, the thing for Exentric over here is like the way they will have to play here is that they would at least have to win 2 games over here back to back, or either like, you know, even in those 4 games, even any of those 2 games are going to be necessary for them to actually try and contest for those top 3 positions. But now overall, we do know Exentric does have it in there, but now how are they going to be panning things out? As we were seeing, like all these teams, you know, just like fighting in those late game situations, and it just gets so havoc, you know, it's just all over the place. The claustrophobia is just all over the place.
Even A1 1952, I mean, they also might have a good chance at making a comeback, and they had almost made it up until the point they messed up in the last 2 games, and that is where it really hurt them, right? So ICE definitely will be on all those teams, you know, positioned from say a 4th position to up until the 6th or 7th, because that's where they have the chance. But before we get started, let's take a look at the overall storyboard, the overall storyline that we've been building up so far. So there you can see, you know, Blood Legion sitting at the tippity top, the contestation. I mean, TRZ still might have a possible chance of making a comeback if they get a chicken dinner or 2.
Indeed, I mean, we did see ERZxTRZ get a massive chicken dinner there yesterday, and certainly that changed so many things for ERZxTRZ going up in those late game favors as well. But then overall over here, taking a look at even you know, A1 1952, they're also doing so good, and they're also in those top rivalries.
I mean, of course, ERZxTRZ has been very close to a chicken, but haven't really managed to get one yet. And, you know, the other teams over here, we've got SLX, Ironic, and if we talk about IPG4 ARC, well, these are the teams, you know. IPG4 ARC, we have to touch upon them. Even AGT9X, in terms of kills, they've been getting it. In terms of position, they've been doing it. But right now, I mean, anything can possibly happen, to be honest. I have my mind shut because how these teams are performing, that's really out of the world to explain. Now, let's take a look at a head-to-head stats between ALxK9 and God's Reborn, wherein we can see God's Reborn doing fairly well in terms of the chicken dinners that they've earned, but ALxK9, sheer consistency being shown over here, and they've still managed to maintain that slight gap. You know, it's just about 5 points.
Indeed, of course. I mean, this is what I was telling you, you know, like there's going to be massive competition between these 2 teams, and they really want to tackle each other's positions down. But especially ALxK9 would want to actually steal the position from God's Reborn, that they have the top 3 position over there. But now taking a look at the damage dealt as well, ALxK9 somewhere lacking down below, even in those kill numbers. I mean, not far away, and certainly total points also not far away. So, I mean, it's definitely not going to be that hard for ALxK9 to overall take their position.
Yeah, of course. But before we get started, let's take a look at the schedule that we have in front of our screens over here. Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel. So, like we can see, you know, starting things off with this day. So, Erangel is the map, the first map that we're going to play in, and that's the first map that we have been playing in so far. And if you talk about it, right, so where do you think the circle is going to pan out, or where do you want the circle to go for, you know, the action to get even more intense?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't really want to be rude and say military base, but the main circle that we want to pan out is definitely going to be overall in the complete between of the map. Now, of course, this is where there's most cover, and all the teams will have equal chance of contesting each other.
Yeah, of course, they certainly might, and anything can possibly happen. And right now, I mean, I've kind of, you've called for the military-based circle, right? I really want to see something maybe towards the quarry area, or maybe again a Katka circle. That's what I want. Maybe towards the western shorelines. But right now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's just hop into the first game, where the flight path trajectory is going all the way from the Sosnovka military base towards shooting range.
I mean, yeah, of course. And INE is one of the teams that really haven't been able to open up as well, just like ERZxTRZ. And certainly they are in those top positions as well, as they have managed to contest themselves the 2nd position. But certainly somewhere down the line, they do know that they need to contest the chicken dinner as well, you know, just to overall, you know, top it up to actually for their repetition points as well. And certainly ERZxTRZ also need to get their numbers on the board when it comes to those chicken dinner. But now we all know where Wolves always goes. It's of course going to be the military base, but then overall favor as well. It's certainly going to be, I really feel like the circle might be in the middle of the map, as we might be, you know, just taking a look at where XCVS is going this time, because XCVS is really struggling, and we all know XCVS actually needs to do something to, you know, keep themselves inside the game as well. And certainly it's not going to be as easy as we are saying. It will be taking a little bit of time, a lot of hard work, and taking the fact into consideration that first game is already being played from the 4 games, now is when the real rivalry starts.
I mean, yeah. All the teams have taken the plunge. Team Wolves not really having a good time this time during the regional finals. Could not do much. They were struggling. They showed some signs, but that was just about it. But as we move along further, so
decent circle.
Yeah, we do see a decent circle. It might just pan around Pochinki, or maybe across the hills around Pochinki. But taking a look at that, you know, we've got the boys from ALxK9, but I really want to see how AGT9 or SLX Ironic, like I mentioned, perform in this one.
I mean, indeed, yeah, we all would want to be, you know, just watching out how they're going to be performing over there. Just to take a look, Sakil's just trying to shoot out anyone from the mid-air from Max, but certainly it's not going to be that easy. As we all know, Max like to prefer that Milta power area all the time, and certainly they are going to be doing that. But KSAC is one of the teams that has been really consistent overall in those positioning points as well. And somewhere down the line, they're also managed to secure a lot much more kills as well. But certainly this is the time, as we were talking about, the final time where they need to actually rack up the kills as well, but at the same time also rack up the positioning points. A small mistake can cost them so much, and this is where all these teams realize. And even God's Reborn, now they're the one in a really crucial state. I'm pretty sure the most of the pressure over here is going to be on the God's Reborn side as well, because if they even get knocked out in the first position in any of the games that are happening in the future, then that's going to be a massive trouble for them.
Yeah, that certainly will.
Oh, look at
and there
that.
you go. IPGX taking a fall right from the early get-go. Sinix has been taken out. The Visit Tower is where he's fallen, and INES will, of course, want to confirm that kill. And INES, considering the standings in the overall leaderboards, I think they would want to, you know, try and get as many points as possible to solidify, you know, this slot confirmed for the PL, because we know the boys from Blood Legion have already, you know, sort of qualified, because that kind of a lead, it's really, really hard. And I mean, if Blood Legion sort of win one more game, and it's over. It's over. No matter how many, no matter if they take a fall or whatever it is, they're still going to be at the tippity top. But well, the players of INES taking some beating by Mahfouz, who's just peppering down those bullets onto his US. Not the right choice of weapon though. Bison at such a, you know, long range does not really fare off well.
It did, of course. It's an SMG, so of course it's not going to be doing that much damage as you want it to in those long ranges. And certainly it does thrive in those close ranges. We all know how lethal it can be sometimes. But overall, people still prefer Uzi in those close ranges, especially having that higher fire rate can definitely be panning out so many things in your favor as well. But so now overall, getting back to our conversation, of course, losing one of their members in those early game phases is going to be costing them so much, as they do know that this is the final day, and especially making those kind of rookie mistakes is definitely going to be, you know, erasing them off slowly and slowly from the leaderboards as well. But now A1 1952 that we all have our eyes on, this team certainly can make it as well, because the last time, what a comeback from them.
I mean, yeah. A1 1952, in terms of how they're doing, they're not far behind, you know. They still have a good chance. They're still in the race over here. And if they get a chicken, so they might as well try to contest for the 3rd spot. But they need to get 2 if they want the 2nd. But I think they could be satisfied with just the 3rd position. But there you can see the players of Log 1 taking some beating, as one of their players is already knocked out.
Indeed. I mean, Lock 1, you really need to step your gameplay up this time. Making these kind of mistakes is definitely going to be so much more hurtful for you guys. And certainly, yep, losing a member early on. And of course, I feel like it's going to be kind of a revenge seasoning coming out for IPGX there, because also they were the one who lost one of their members early on. But certainly now one of the other teams has also lost their members early on. Now they might be feeling a little bit, you know, a little bit light.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they would be feeling. But to be honest, IPG4ARC, well, this is a team, you know, especially Stranger. he's been there for his squad every single time in every single fight. He's been doing a lot, trying to survive till the very end. And well, moving forward, we've got the players of Max Esports. So this is a team that has been kind of willy-nilly. It's just the one-day glory that they had during the group stages. That's just about it. And they could not do much. We had high expectations from the likes of Ironclad and King. Well, they have surprisingly failed. But like we mentioned, this is just a learning curve for them. This is just a learning chance. And this was the first PMCO. I'm pretty sure by the next time when they qualify, and which they might, considering how they've been playing, I think we might get to see something promising next time around.
I mean, of course, yeah, this is going to be a massive, learning process for these guys. And certainly they might be, even panning the strategies out according how they got tackled the last time. So, of course, in the future, they will be also panning the strategies out way much more better. So, in case they won't just get tackled like they did this time. But now, overall, taking a look at God Reborn's stats, seems like they're going to be having 152 total points. Of course, we all know they are somewhere down the lines in those top 3 situations, and KSX is just right behind them. And then A1 comes down below them. But now, of course, the fight is going to be between all these 3. Now, even A1 is aiming for God's Reborn spot, and even KSX is aiming for God's Reborn spot. And Log1 certainly will be, but at the same time, they still want to move slowly. We all know Log1 is kind of those snails who move slowly on those leaderboards, but certainly they keep on moving. It's not like they're going to be stopping on one spot. So Log1 also going to be moving slowly, and they will try to contest the spots one by one. But certainly now we're here, which thing is going to be certainly interesting is how A1 is also going to be managing the thing, managing to situation pan themselves out.
Oh, well, it's very hard to tell right now as to what is going to happen to Log1. But right now, what we can certainly tell is God's Reborn. They are angry. They are men on a mission. They've already started racking up a few kills here and there, and IPGX taking the second knock over here. And Gentleman will make no mistake, trying to secure the knock again, but he gets knocked back in return. Now B1 would want to confirm that kill, but you have Washiro coming in the nearby fray. So B1, in fact, trying to hold on, as we've seen the players of God's Reborn trying to surround them from multiple angles. How is IPGX going to survive this one out?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It seems like B1 is going to be flanking his way across. Does know that there is, some hurt men behind that buggy over there, behind God's Reborn's buggy. But how is he going to be taking them down, though? Of course, trying to flank his best. Going to be using a little bit of utilities just to flush them out. But doesn't really seem like that's going to be connecting anytime soon. So B1 making his positioning good, but also taking so much shots while he's also trying to position himself. Just take a look at the aggression coming from Gentleman. But certainly going to get taken down and wiped out as well. Beautiful stuff coming from B1. But now over here, Koa is in a massive world of trouble as he just reloaded the gun, but also connecting his last bullet onto B1, and that's going to be certainly enough.
Yeah, that certainly is going to be enough. And IPGX, well, considering this team has not been doing very well, but right now you can see they're still putting up a fight. Marshall taking down Koa, where this is going to hurt them. This is going to hurt their purpose. And maybe God's Reborn kind of took too much on their plate, more than they can chew. And Mahfouz, wow, I mean, he's back on his foot. He's taken down another player, and that just brings SLXGR just to one player. That's 1v4. And it's not a 1v4 situation, it's a 1v3. But, I mean, how is he going to do that? Make that 1v2? Because they somehow did manage to take down one player. But, well, at the cost of what? This is something that God's Reborn could not have really afforded. Lack in conviction sort of led to their fall so early on. And they have to survive somehow, at least get those position points to be still in the race for the top 3 slots.
I mean, of course, as you are trying to get contested by squads like KSX and A1, you are certainly not supposed to make mistakes like these, because your spot might get stolen anytime soon. If one Y4 gets knocked out, then things are just basically over. They are not going to be having those top 3 spots. But of course, there are some future games coming in. Then maybe God's Reborn can make a comeback to those top 3. But certainly, I mean, if you have that top 3 spot going in for yourself, maybe you should just try playing safe. Maybe you should not just aggress through and be overconfident, and then just like, if situations just don't pan out for yourself, then yeah, you're just going to be in a massive world of trouble. Unless you're Blood Legions, then things are certainly different.
Yeah, well, 100% rightly put. But, you know, Blood Legions have been silent so far. They haven't been making a lot of noises. And they know that if they can secure just that one chicken dinner, they sort of solidify their position on the top spot. No one's going to be able to touch them. So that's what they must be eyeing out for. And maybe in the second, third, and fourth game, we might just witness them completely, you know, going really aggressive in the lobby. And now the boys over here for IPG4 ARC. Well, they've got a good spot, but IPGX, I mean, Infernal Parasites, they've managed to get 4 kills right from the early start, not really having the time of life that they would have wanted in this tournament, but certainly can do better.
Of course, they can be doing better, but now taking a look at over here, there are so many teams trying to make the rotation inside the circle. Of course, that's going to be happening. Respecting the circle is the main factor inside the game. But King certainly seems like he is going to get caught off guard and also trying his best to crawl inside cover, but seems like he will be safe for now, as none others the squad are not trying to contest onto him. So maybe he will be safe for a little while. But now taking a look at over here, seems like Leo is going down as well. Or he's barely surviving though, but his foot is showing, and seems like Sketch is not going to be able to spot that. But certainly King is still down now. The King definitely needs that res onto him. But overall, taking a look at Caffeine, seems like he does realize what is going on right in front of him, and one of the worst position Max can also offer in this inside this entire game. As we take a look at Gyro and Rayan, seems like XB Blood Legion is actually crumbling down slowly and slowly. Like missing out on a player like Rayan might be a massive world of trouble. But how are things going to be panning out in favor of Blood Legions is going to be compelling to see as we take a look. Seems like Insane is just going to be panning. Insane is just going to be barraging those bullets onto his enemy, and certainly like King is barely surviving on his foot, as well as we take a look at Casper also making a little bit of desperation movement on the map as well, trying to change his position. But now take a look at Ironclad out in the open of the field. Of course, Caffin is going to be capitalizing onto his position, but certainly not going to be able to connect any shot, because Caffin does have that little bit of reach onto himself, and certainly going to be making the rotation as well. But now Caffin finally going to be finding Ironclad, and he's going down.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, along with, you know, Team Max, we've got the players of Blood Legion in a bit of a pickle over here. But Ironclad taking that DBS right on his face, being smacked off. And I can understand him just blown into smithereens over there just from that gun. I mean, it's so devastating. But as we move along further, every team, you know, we do see that aggression back again from all these sides. Everyone wanting to get those kill points for themselves. Everyone going so aggressive today. And the circle has taken a lot of interesting turns over here. But the second airdrop coming in, the Groza, the gun that reeks violence, that reeks of death itself. So we gotta see as to which team, you know, kind of goes for this, because it's a very, very risky spot to, you know, go in there. But there you can see the players of Blood Legion getting into a kerfuffle against the players of ERZxTRZ, but sort of avoiding that. And now their eyes set onto it, the boys of KSX.
Indeed. I mean, of course, just take a look at the rotation coming in from ERZxTRZ as well. Don't really seem like they're going to get scared and just making those rotation out in the open, but certainly seems like Mamba might get contested from Dominic if he managed to hit some shots, and certainly it's not going to be happening because it's a Mini 14. And you will have to be really precise when shooting that gun as well. But certainly if he had an M4, he might have managed to, you know, at least connect 1 or 2 shots in the process. But certainly seems like ALxK9 are going to be spotting ERZxTRZ as well in their nearby vicinity. But how long are they going to be able to stay safe? That's going to be the interesting part to witness, because I mean, certainly the fight might be erupting in between them anytime soon, as we take a look at Whitecat also out in the open, out of nowhere. But certainly ERZxTRZ are struggling somewhere down the lines, and we all know that as well. And they really need to win at least one chicken dinner, try to get themselves on the board, and then things might be turning in their favor.
Now, you know, this looks like, you know, a lot of teams have started closing in on the Pochinki area. So we've seen ERZxTRZ getting chickens in Pochinki. In fact, the first chicken that they got in the group stages was in Pochinki itself. ALxK9's Captain and Merciless, they're in different spots, not really having the best position to provide cover fire to each other. If Merciless position is somehow compromised, I think ERZxTRZ might want to capitalize and get a few knocks here and there. But beautiful, beautiful 2 taps coming out from Thunder, taking down Ryan. and just bursting him out. Look at his vest and his helmet purely damaged.
Yeah, Ryan is certainly not having the time of his life. Getting knocked down twice early on is certainly going to be, just going to be a slapper for him. But now, of course, I really want things to pan out for Blood Legions as well in their favor. But one of the teams that I really want to see take chicken dinner are, of course, going to be ERZxTRZ and even INERTIA, because they still haven't really managed to, secure that chicken dinner in their hands. And they certainly down the line also themselves are kind of desperate to manage to get that chicken dinner in their hands. So, of course, they are going to be trying their best to, try as safe as possible, and even, try to contest those survival points. But now overall, taking a look at the zone shift, seems like all the teams inside Pochinki are going to be having a hard time rotating inside.
Yeah, they certainly are. But right now, ALxK9, they're in a bit of a pickle already. One of their players, one of their players already falling out, and XP Blood Legion, they've held on to that spot in such a good manner. And now, all right, so Dominic is applying that extra bit of a pressure, and ALxK9, all they can do right now is just retreat.
Of course, retreating is definitely going to be the more fashionable way over here, because especially you don't want to go up against Blood Legion this early on, but certainly seems like A1 1952 are going to be in a massive world of trouble, as they've already lost a player like Tufik. So certainly the rest of the team needs to play a little bit safe, as we take a look at Agent just barraging his nades, trying to confirm that kill on the Tufik. But is that nade going to be able to do that, though? Certainly seems like that's not going to be happening anytime soon. Just take a look at the smokes coming in, just to buy a little bit of time for the res as well. And certainly seems like Tufik is barely going to be making it, but no, the nade is going to be closing it out for him. And that's going to be Tufik out of the game as well. But now one shot, barely surviving with a sliver of HP. And how long is he going to be able to survive that? Seems like one shot is also going to be retreating. The entire A1 squad is just retreating.
Yeah, that they are. But right now, Wolves, they've got nothing to lose, and they're wounded, they're injured. They want some more for themselves. They want that blood. But Blood Legion's Gyro, he's taking a dig at the players of SLX Ironic. Now, Demon, he's trying to fight to survive as, 2-3 squads just kind of surround him. And he's got to watch out on all different angles. But Gyro, he certainly seems like he does not really want to stop. As Arsis takes a dig at one shot from A1 1952. And the kill has not been confirmed yet. But look at Newt from INES. I mean, he's kind of in the dark about the positioning of Witcher's. Taken quite a beating. Will have to heal himself up and get in the fight.
Indeed, but now there are just so many bullets, being fired all over the place, and certainly XCV is one of the really good players. Going to be Witcher. Seems like he's going to be taking an early exit as well. As we take a look at Demon, also simultaneously getting capitalized from Newty, and beautiful shots coming from Newty there, completely eliminating out the existence of XCVS, and certainly the squad that really wanted to contest, and they are somewhere on the top lines as well, on the 9th position. Certainly going to be having a really hard time as well. Now taking a look at INES, seems like things are not going to be panning out in this situation, as they are also getting knocked down. But now the fight between ERZxTRZ and ALxK9, seems like ERZxTRZ are also struggling a little bit somewhere down the line. But INES are also in the same page, as they have also lost on one of their players.
Yeah, they certainly have. But ALxK9, I mean, in a whole world of trouble, INES Salu trying to provide that cover fire for his teammates until and unless they get back up on their feet, as Gashor has that flank angle. They are both pushing in together. All the players of ALxK9 now, they're in such a trouble because they're so low on their HPs. As one of their players falls down, it's Aban who's the last player surviving. Can he survive for quite some time? No is going to be the answer, as ALxK9 take an early exit, and it's the boys from INERTIA have already racked up 7 kills for themselves.
Beautiful plays coming from INERTIA there, but also in the process, one member was knocked out, and that was going to be clutch. But the res coming in from Newty, of course, the support player is going to be doing the res part. A beautiful plays from coming in from support player as well. But now it certainly seems like ERZxTRZ are back on their feet again. They are looking healthy and they are looking top notch. But now, how are they going to be able to contest their position inside the circle? Now, certainly they are getting spotted and shot at from all the directions, but how long are they going to be able to play safe? But because they just have so many teams in nearby vicinity, nearby area surrounding, and certainly taking a look at that, Rayan is definitely going to be popping some heads onto ERZxTRZ. As we take a look, it seems like Exentric Infinity are in a massive world of trouble. It's only down to Thunder and Shua. We all know that these two players are certainly the best player that Exentric has to offer as well. But now it seems like Wolves are just not going to be having enough, and Wolves are just doing so much much damage onto Exentric Infinity, and certainly they are crumbling down on their knees as it's all down to Shugo, sir, and finally he has been tackled down as well while he was trying to reposition himself.
So many teams falling down so quickly. This is still the fifth circle, you know, just closing in as Blood Legion have taken a very good spot up top, and well, this is a fight that's happening onto which is inside of Pachinki. So we got to see as to which team really comes out on top over here. But right now, ERZxTRZ, they've got their 3 players alive. They're engaging against IPG4. Elsewhere, even Blood Legion are applying that extra bit of a pressure. We do see those smokes coming in, clearly indicating that they might want to go in for a push. And they've got nothing to lose. I mean, they're still in the tippity top position. They still have gotten 5 kills, and they certainly are hungry for more.
Indeed, they are hungry for more. As we take a look, there's just so many fights happening now. Avon 1952 also crumbling down on their knees, slowly and steadily. But now take a look at ERZxTRZ Whitecat. Losing a player like Whitecat is suddenly going to be such a massive disappointment coming in for them. But just take a look at the relentless aggression coming in from Blood Legion. They are just going to be wiping existence. They're trying their best to take down Atomic as well, but certainly going to be spotting him down. But Blood Legion's losing out on a player like Gyro, but certainly the res will be coming in through. As we take a look, entire existence has been wiped out of ERZxTRZ by Blood Legions.
Yeah, and now the players will be back on any certain moment. Right now, Dominic reviving Gyro and Leo, doing the vendors onto which Ryan. But at this moment, SLX Ironic can surely capitalize on this situation. But Wolves, they've got one of the members down, Jigsaw, already out of the equation as Caffeine, like we had anticipated, taking down Ryan and Leo. SLX Ironic capitalizing on that fight would want to get the better out of the boys from Blood Legion, as they are now in a whole world of trouble. Caffeine making those solo rushes all by his lonesome. Can he succeed? Can he just wipe out the champions or the champions that are yet to be crowned? But Agent making that push onto it, so the players of Log1 does not really manage to find anyone out over here, as Log1 somehow managed to survive.
Indeed, but certainly one team is doing really good this time. It's definitely going to be Wolves with those 6 points coming in. And of course, Wolves was just playing so better overall this time. But now, one team also struggling a little bit this time. It's going to be also Blood Legion, because 2 players are knocked down and only 2 players are up. And certainly the rest might be coming in through, as they might not get contested by the other squads. But now, for example, focusing on the situation that is going on in front of us, seems like Log1 are going to be barraging the nades a little bit through onto enemies. But certainly realizing that there is no little bit of threat left anymore. But there are still a little bit of teams in there, in those nearby areas, as they are trying their best to spot anyone down. And it's going to be Wolves.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be Wolves, but how are the other teams really trying to get a comeback over here? And Blood Legion have somehow managed to, you know, get all their players alive, and right now they've taken again another fall, but Ryan does retaliate in fashion. IPG4 ARC, they will also have to contest their way in, you know, because standing right in front of them are the boys from INES, who are relentless, who did not really want to give up. They're getting kills here and there, and have already managed to rack up 8, but it's Blood Legion who've managed to get 10 right now, with Gyro still falling down. I don't think there's any chance on earth that they can get that res back up, but Ryan still wants to go in, still wants to try over here. I love what they're doing. The 2-2 split coming out from the boys, certainly working out in their favor, but how are they going to get inside the circle?
Is that nade going to be doing the job on Venom there? That's going to be interesting to see, but IPG4 are certainly just going to be proning out. You know, they don't really want to play that aggressive. They're still just waiting it out for INES to make any kind of mistake, but certainly INES is going to be playing safe as possible, because they certainly do want to get that chicken dinner in their hat. But now just take a look at Kazak's Mira. Is going to be taking a massive rotation over there, but is he going to get caught off guard? As we take a look at Blood Legion just getting completely demolished. Blood Legion certainly need to capitalize onto their position as well, and certainly the res might be coming in through, as Blood Legion is only down to that one man standing. But how long is he going to be able to play safe, though? As we take a look, another elimination coming in through. It's going to be Avon Esports on the 8th position, going down, and then Wolves is going to be following them back up, but certainly managed to secure those 6 massive points over there as well, just through kills. It's just an overall fantastic plays coming in from them, but certainly the rest are coming in through. As we keep on talking, Venom going down for IPG4 ARC. INES is putting on some massive work.
Yeah, I mean, in the meanwhile, Blood Legion have gotten all their players back up. One of the players also falling down, but that is not really going to matter over here. INES still having that lower ground, still having the car for the cover that they have really built it up, and they need to blow it up right now, because otherwise the boys from Log 1 might just capitalize on this one, as KSX still having their players alive. So have a good chance in getting this winner chicken dinner. But right now I believe the players of Log 1 are finally, are taking a few shots onto the boys of INES. Right in front of them we have KSX finally trying to rotate around. Miraz taking some shots to the other side, but it was taken from his left as Rollick gets the knock. But now Ehsan still trying to put the lead into the hearts of his enemies, but right now he needs to get that revive as well.
Indeed, the revive is going to be coming through, but how long is he going to be safe for? But also Log 1 losing out on one of their members, as INES is just barraging the bullets through onto them. Sabik trying his best to keep his teammates safe as long as possible, but certainly the res will not be coming through, because he is just out in the open, and Sabik is definitely going to be taking the smarter choice and the better choice to just take the movement inside the circle. But now certainly seems like KSX are in a massive world of trouble, as losing on players like Ehsan and Miraz is definitely going to be putting them in such a massive disadvantage, as Sanhok is trying his best to keep his team alive and keep his team strong. But now just take a look at Blood Legion. They are back up on their feet with all of these players, Gyro, Ryan, and Dominic Bot, certainly showing that aggressing onto Sanhok. How long is this man going to be able to hold off? This is a 1v3 situation, and Gyro certainly seems like he's not scared of anyone. Gyro taking a little bit of damage from that nade, but certainly going to be healing himself back up. But now Sanhok's trying his best to keep himself alive, but certainly is getting eliminated by Blood Legions.
The final duel that we can see, ladies and gentlemen, is between INES and Blood Legion. It is going to be really tricky as to how they approach it out. And well, Log 1's Rolex being the last player surviving does take down Ryan in the process, playing as a spoiled spot. But Blood Legion, they need to do something about it. They need to get a few kills here and there, as Clutch is just raining down those bullets onto his hearts. But right now Dominic getting that knock onto which Skyor will certainly delay things for INES, as for Blood Legion they will have to be careful for the backlines, and no, that's not going to be necessary anymore. Dominic with that beautiful nade again. Gajor getting eliminated. Now it's all upon Salu to do anything and everything possible to try and to get that chicken dinner for his team, but that's not going to happen, because it is Blood Legion yet again with those massive 18 kills chicken dinner that they have amassed for themselves. I mean, whatever the condition may be, Blood Legion somehow
33 points!
Figure themselves out. Yeah,
18
points.
kills and 33 points. Blood Legion just showing an absolute decimation again. I mean, it's really not needed for them.
I mean, it is. I mean, this certainly has, kind of confirmed that, they are going to be the champions. Nobody, despite how many points you get, are going to be in close contention to where they are. But let's take a look at the MVP of this particular match, and there has to be Gyro with those 7 kills, 959. Absolutely ridiculous damage. What Blood Legion just did was completely ludicrous, and that is how the champions play, and that is what they have shown.
I mean, indeed, we did see Ryan go down twice in those early game phases, and this is where things kind of started looking stumbly for them. But later on, Ryan actually capitalized and started knowing that, oh, okay, if I'm peaking so aggressively, it's of course going to be affecting my team as well. So then Ryan actually started playing a little bit safe and strategically. But then we did see Gyro just showing an absolute seamless aggression and fearless aggression in those late game circles.
I mean, the best part about this particular team is how they use their smokes, right?
Yeah.
And, if we take a look at the top players, every single player of Blood Legion might just be there. Okay, so Leo did miss out, but it's okay, considering the other players. I mean, he was in the back lines, he was trying to provide as much support as he could. But Agent also having quite a decent kill for Team Wolf, but that's not gonna matter.
I mean, I did point it out, right, that Wolves is actually playing really good this time in that game, but certainly it's not really going to be mattering, because they did get eliminated on the 6th position, and this is like quite far behind. But certainly now, taking a look at Gyro with those 7 kills and massive number of 959 damage. But just take a look at Dominic Bot's damage over here, 1,011, crossing that 1,000 mark is just an absolute beauty.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we know Blood Legion to be doing. They've done this in the past, and they're doing that today as well. But, as things go, in terms of the match summary, in terms of the numbers that we have in front of our screens, there you can see Arceus getting that longest distance kills. But yeah, the circle was pretty interesting. The circle was pretty new, considering that these teams have played this kind of a circle in the past. But it was very imperative for them to know those positions, because those hills, they're very, really crucial.
I mean, at this point, it's just literally like Blood Legion is just bullying all the other teams that are down below, and they're just on the hilltop looking down below, and they're just laughing at each and every single one. It's like they're looking at each and every single one trying to climb, and they're just like taking a look at them and laughing. But overall, now, I mean, of course, in those upcoming matches, I really feel like Blood Legion should give other teams a chance to win as well.
I mean, they should. Right now, I mean, they just want to, show their domination.
Yeah, they just want to show off.
They are. Every single time, in every single fight, few of the players really fell down, but that did not deter them from, going in for the revives, getting their teammates back up. So as we move along further, I really want to see, how things go on in terms of, Blood Legion really playing it out in the next few matches. But match rankings being shown over here, we can see 33 points for these lads, and INES sitting at the second spot. Quite a promising performance from them as well.
I mean, we did see A1 1952 in those late game stages as well, but certainly seemed like there was just too many teams that were alive in those late game phases, and we all know how absolute claustrophobic it is in those late game situations. So of course they did get eliminated on those somewhere 11 to 12 spots. But overall now, KSX also manages to secure themselves a really good position over there, getting those 12 points, and of course those 8 placement points as well. That's certainly going to be helping them a little bit on those leaderboards, because God's Reborn are certainly stumbling down.
But the woes continue for XCVS, ALxK9. I mean, AGT9 and the SLX God's Reborn. There was
Exentric as well.
There was no reason why they had to make such a push over there in those early game phases against IPGX, and they were punished. And right now, let's take a look at the Oppo moments and see all these moments come into life yet again. And we did see some early engagements, and this time Erangel was completely filled with action. There was no single moment where teams were not really fighting or not really trying to take it to the final circles. And as a result of which, this kind of favored how Blood Legion loves to play, and that is going really aggressive.
I mean, indeed. And those early engagements, as we saw, all those players were actually trying their best to contest that vehicle early off, but then certainly they just got caught off guard from those nearby compounds. But then later on, we are just taking a look at Lock1, also doing so much work from those back lines, and certainly they are showing themselves up on those top leaderboards as well. And this is what I'm talking about, right? If Lock1 actually want to step their gameplay up, they needed to get those kills as well.
Yeah, I mean, they 100% have to, but right now, I think the first position has been confirmed. It has been cemented. We know who's going to win this one. Second, I mean, considering how INERTIA has been playing, how they've been racking up those points, they also might confirm one of their slots. But it's still the third position that we are looking out for. Who is that going to be, considering God's Reborn sort of threw that one out. And there you can see the damage graph over here, which is pretty much mental. Blood Legion getting 18 kills, 3,000 damage. INEA is not really far behind.
Yeah, indeed, they're not really far behind, but one thing I just cannot take my eyes off is from the Blood Legion damage. 3,172 damage. That's a massive number right there. I mean, overall, just completely decimated the lobby in those end circles. They were just pushing everybody. If they saw one member getting knocked out from one team, they were like, okay, guys, we are going to be pushing this. It's like they just don't even care. It's like they throw nades on the enemy and even smokes on the enemy. So the vision is completely blocked while they're pushing. So, of course, they are going to be buying a little bit of time for them. And when they completely, just expose themselves and try to get a little bit of info on the Blood Legions, and Blood Legions are just in their faces.
Yeah, I mean, they do utilize the smokes to perfection, but right now, this, perfect use of utilities has put them on the top spot. As we take a look at the overall rankings, and there you can see 275 points. So there's no chance on earth that anyone can, stop them from entering into the PMPL. I mean, pure, absolute, gory domination coming out from the boys of Blood Legion. But God's Reborn and KSX, now they're evened up in terms of points. KSX has made such a beautiful comeback. It's a tie. It's just the kill difference that they have, so that is really mattering. But as we move along further, I mean, Log 1, they are also in the race now. I mean, still, the third spot can be anybody's, and I think the fourth game of Erangel might just decide who is going to walk off with that.
I mean, yeah, certainly it's going to be deciding that as well. But one thing I really want to see is Blood Legions actually getting that 300+ mark on the board in the end of the day. That would be actually, yeah, that would be so iconic though.
I think after this match, they kind of knew that they have sort of gotten that first position secured for themselves. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just head out for a short little break because we need a breather from what we just saw. We'll be coming right back with the action coming in from Sanhok. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the final day of the regional finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. The Bangladesh region, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5. As we head along to Sanhok, we did see Blood Legion firing on all cylinders with the way their players have been performing today. And now the pressure is sort of on the teams like Reborn. Then we've got ALxK9 who have made a really consistent who have shown a rather consistent performance, and even Log1 is in the race. So from all these three teams, what do you expect? Can someone get a chicken in this one?
Well, I mean, the thing is, one team that I'd really want to take want a team to get a chicken dinner is definitely going to be INES, because they still need to open up their account in those chicken dinner phases. And certainly, if you are a team that is going to be on the second number in the overall leaderboards, you need to have at least one chicken dinner, you know, just to put it up there. But I mean, of course, yeah, that literally shows that they're also doing good in those placement points and survival points, and at the same time, kills are also coming in.
I mean, not necessarily, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's all about how many points you're racking up. Of course, you do not have that glory to say that you do not you kind of lose out on those bragging rights that you've not gotten a chicken. But apart from that, I mean, as long as you've racked up the points for yourself, you're good to go with. But taking a look at the trajectory over here, kind of dissecting the map almost into two halves. But what we're really interested is where the circle is gonna go, because yesterday we did see, you know, those circles kind of going towards you know, the western side, sometimes, you know, going towards the southern side. So it's going to be really critical. I mean, we've seen those paradise circles, and this is disastrous. Yeah, this changes everything. I mean, A1952, all they have to do is try to take that top spot. That's it.
And even Max haven't joined this time.
I mean, it's understandable, and I can my sympathies with them.
But the thing is, like, it's more kind of like the practice, you know. Later on, you can like get to play. You can like use those new strategies that you're building up last second, just to you know, test it out if they're working. And even, you know, it's just overall shows that you actually care about those you know, those upcoming events as well, that you really want to contest and win. But overall, Wolves also are down to only 3 members for themselves, which is definitely going to be a little bit disappointing. But overall, of course, the top team, that is definitely going to be Blood Legions, INES, and then later on ALxK9 as well. But this time, it certainly seems like ALxK9 and as well God's Reborn are going to be having a little bit of modern warfare between them this time.
Yes, and that's happening in Sami. We've seen this fight in the past. And, you know, that time the stakes were not that high, but God's Reborn cannot afford to lose this one out. They cannot afford to lose the 3rd position that they have for themselves. And right now, they've just got those extra 2 kills against, you know, the likes of ALxK9, but that's just about it. Now, if they get some casualties over here, it's going to make things so difficult, as they have to travel a long way. So the only wise decision would be to just back off. But look at Log1's Sadiq just entering right in the face of Blood Legion and Dominic. He's dead. He's wiped out.
Yeah, unfortunate turn of events for Blood Legions there, especially losing out on a player like Dominic is going to be such a massive disappointment coming in from them as well. But one thing that was going on between SLXGR and ALK9 is that SLX God's Reborn certainly have made the call to actually stick inside one compound, which sometimes can actually favor you as well. But if the utilities are point from the enemy team, which is going to be ALK9, then that might be creating a little bit of spacing for them and even a little bit of time for them to actually push inside. So, I mean, some be a really but you know, can be a really good spot as well. But you know, overall, it really depends on the team, certainly, where you can actually capitalize. Really easily. Especially grouping up means you are also stopping your loot phases and your loot circulation as well. So certainly, I really feel like grouping up is a little bit of questionable choice coming in from these teams. But overall, the time is just going to be telling us how things are going to be panning out, as each and every single one is just staring at each other, and the only one person that is going to be looting, it's going to be Captain. Yeah, of course, a beautiful decision coming in from this man. And overall, it's like Captain is just overall, I mean, right now it's literally just like those waiting phases, you know?
Yeah.
No one really wants to give their position away, but overall, Captain is still looting in those backlines.
I mean, he rather than looting, I think he's kind of more concerned on trying to block off the rotation of God's Reborn over there. Yeah, because they're kind of trying to surround them, you know, and engulf them like an amoeba. So one mistake led to other. You can see their nerves racking over here because now God's Reborn are just in that
take a look
one
at that.
small compound. Now here comes that push. Tesla along with the team. Just in that one small compound. Now here comes that push. Tesla along with the teammate Merciless. There's just enough loot to contest that. Do they hunt for it? Do they have enough loot to contest? Shotgun would get this go ramming inside that house. And they are playing that 2-1-1 split. You can see the players of God's Reborn rather making a move over it. It feels like a battle of chess, you know. They're trying to position and reposition their troops every single time. And there you go, the fight finally being broken over here and making a fight happening right. But there you go, we get another fight right in front of us. That's ALxK9 going after Team Wolves.
Indeed, yeah, of course, Wolves losing out on a player like Jigsaw is certainly going to be such a massive disappointment coming in, and even Asian is going to be following it up. And it certainly seems like ALxK9 over here definitely has that heavy weightlifting going on over here. But now it certainly seems like the fight is going to be breaking it through between God's Reborn and ALxK9. And ALxK9 already losing on a player like Danger. And then Execute is going to be falling, I mean Merciless is going to be following it up. And of course, that's going to be a really early elimination coming in onto ALxK9.
I mean, yeah. Finally, they have managed to survive this onslaught, right? And, well, somewhere down the line, you know, ALxK9, they needed to understand that they had nothing to lose over there. They could have just waited. They could have
used utilities, you know.
You know, in map of Sanhok, I'm not going to blame the players if they do not, if they aren't using utilities, because you don't get enough. I mean, that's the harsh reality of this map. But now, IPG4 and IPGX, both in contention for the Shrine area. Everyone taking their wages, positioning the players. But look at Cynic's position. He's gone on the lower ground. And if he manages to find one of the players from the back lines, then this might just give that direct route for the players of IPGX to get the squad wipe. But there you can see Marshall already revealing his position. Dadlock wary of where he is as B1 is trying to again take the upper area, just proned out. The nade coming out. Is that a nade or a smoke? That's a nade, definitely. And B1 has done a pretty decent job at dodging it.
Indeed, Deadlove barely surviving on that. Little bit of rage going in for himself, and B1 going to be knocking out Stranger. A beautiful knock coming from B1 there, capitalizing on your situation. Also, Deadlove going down in the process as well. Now it's all down to Venom. How long is this man going to be surviving? Venom barely staying alive as well. He is going to capitalize from the flank angles. Beautiful flank coming in from Cynics there, and just overall completely capitalize on the entire position of IPG4 Arc. Now Heaven is going to be the last man alive, and finally Heaven doesn't really want to challenge the fight directly. Indeed, he just wants to wait it out, make either one of the players to make a little bit of, you know, rookie mistake, and then just capitalize onto them. It seems like it's going to be Cynics going to be following it up, but no! Heaven reveals his position. A really potato situation coming in from Cynics there.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, IPG4 Arc getting eliminated over here. And yeah, these Shrine fights are really essential. Of course, losing out on Mafus, that's going to hurt them. But these 4 kills are certainly going to make them happy. Because if you have that higher ground, if you have that control over this area, if you've got the players to spread out, you are good to go for the remainder of the fights.
Indeed, of course, you are good to go. But, I mean, we had a talk earlier, Fixes, like over on these teams going to be trying to contest each other's drop location, dropping under them. And certainly this time it seems like it is happening. They are trying to tackle each other down in those early game phases. And we did see already 3 fights happening in those early game phases. One of them was Wolves. Then the other one was ALxK9. And now over here, IPG4 Arc. So many teams getting eliminated off in those early phases.
See, for this, you know, the last fight against IPG4 Arc, so that was a fight for a better spot. But the previous fights was, of course, you know, the final day of the PMCOs. And in every regional finals or whatever it may be, you know, talk about GC, talk about Pro League, talk about World League. We have seen this happen. The last final days, you know, teams that do not really stand a good chance at making it to the next phase, certainly, you know, tend to drop in here and there and, you know, try to get those extra bit of kills. You know, the moment you have nothing to lose, like we've been talking about this a lot, the moment you have nothing to lose, you do not feel that pressure to perform. And you can do whatever on earth you want. You kind of become untamed. you kind of become the beast that you are. And whenever you're entering into these regional finals, you are still in the contention for the top spot. You still have that pressure. I mean, one bad game and you might lose it out. And I can totally feel the players of God's Reborn right now. I mean, after that very disappointing performance in the first game, they need to make sure that they make something happen from Sanhok. And when they just drop in and there's a squad nearby, and it makes things a lot tricky.
Indeed, I'm right now currently imagining a thing like, imagine if ERZxTRZ or Exentric Infinity managed to clutch their spot in those top 3 and then just completely turn the events.
I don't think that's going to happen, because the points, the difference is just too much. I mean, if we do the maths over here, we've got 3 games remaining, including this one, of course.
And they will have to, of course, get like
chicken
30
in every single game. And considering their run, I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, it's like if they get 2 chicken dinners with...
It's an ideal situation, to be honest.
It's like if they get 2 chicken dinners with 25 plus points, then there is a chance. There is a chance. Certainly for ERZxTRZ.
I mean, there is, but the chances are very slim. I would still, want teams like KS Axe, even Log1. I could still say that they might qualify, but for ERZxTRZ, if they kind of get a chicken dinner in this particular match and the following one as well, then you never know. Then you never know. It's going to go down to the final map, and the pressure is going to be, massive, really.
But certainly, right now, taking a look at the map that we saw before, there are so many late game rotations coming in. Of course, God's Reborn, INES, and then 2 more teams are just making those late rotations outside the circle as well. But are they going to get caught off guard, though? I mean, of course, the zone is literally just so unfortunate that it only covers like 50% of the land, and certainly zone is, if the land is certainly going to be that small, then you will have to make those early game rotations to actually get the best out of the zone as well. But certainly the late game rotations is kind of an interesting choice as well, and it's certainly going to be compelling to see how they're going to be turning things out in their favor. But now one thing we really are looking over here is that Wolves, ALxK is barely surviving, in those late game situations as well. But certainly, it's like what exactly is happening over here is certainly going to be interesting, because ALxK is over here.
Yeah.
Last man standing for Wolves, and Wolves is already done anyways. So what this man is going to be trying to do, let me tell you, he's going to be that little scrawny person who is just going to be making things harder for all the other teams.
Team Wolves have to travel so far. I mean, almost 1,500 meters.
Yeah.
And it's the second zone, still doable. But by the looks of it, I think they want to maybe force out that signature heel strat that we have seen in Sanhok in the past. But coming back to A1 1952, I really felt that they could have capitalized on their positioning. They could have contested for the hilltop. And staying at Camp Alpha, I do not really know. This could have been their match, to be honest. This could have been the game that A1 1952 have been so longing for, another chicken dinner in their bag. They certainly could have done that, but rather prioritizing playing it safe than taking those risks. And like the saying goes, fortune favors the brave, right? So they've made a safe approach. They need to take that hell control, because if they do not, then I guess we might get to see the other teams coming out on top, getting the chicken in this one.
Certainly. I mean, it would definitely be a surprise if like a team literally just catches off guard and just comes out on top out of nowhere. But I mean, certainly, of course, if those teams are going to be the one to contest the chicken dinner, they will probably be in those bottom lands as well, and they won't really be having that much of a big chance to contest the game overall. But certainly, if it's a team like ERZxTRZ, then that would be making things so close. But then now, overall, taking a look at SLX's ironic position as well, there is a team right in front of them, and it's going to be Exentric Infinity, which is certainly not really having a good time, and they are certainly not really having the days of their life as well. So it might be a little bit easy for them to actually contest them down as well. But now over here, KSX, of course, one of the teams that is one of the most consistent team that the entire Bangladesh region has to offer behind Log1.
Right now, XCVS, Witcher. I do not know if he actually knows that there's someone. He should be anticipating.
Somewhat.
it,
There's
though.
literally a full squad over there just proning
Yeah.
around, not making a single sound.
They're just making, the players of XCVS to come out right and the open. But here we can see the boys from SLX Ironic going after the boys of Exentric Infinity. Thunder in a hold of World of Trouble.
Oh
That's
my
a
God.
beautiful TVS knock
He's just
right
got
on
demolished.
his face. Yeah.
Completely destroyed with that, but now taking a look at C1 as well, doing a little bit of damage from the back lines. Certainly had to be there for his team, but now Shiwas are also putting in so much work, managing to knock out 3 players in the process as well. Shiwas are just turning the situations in his favor. But certainly that nade might be able to finish that one off, but no, the finish is not going to be coming in through. Shiwasar does realize that he has turned the situations a little bit in his favor as well. Taking a little bit from shots, a little bit from the backlines as well, but now there is another situation occurring in front of us. It's going to be between XCVS and KSX. Certainly, KSX are only over there. Only 2 members of KSX are available over there against XCVS. And XCVS, of course, having that numbers advantage in those surrounding areas. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how things are going to be panning out for them as well. But now, taking a look at the fight that is actually happening in front of us as well. Now, SLX Ironic are barely surviving on that last man. And certainly his position has been contested, but a little bit, bad place nade coming in from Shiwasar. They're not really able to, put the nade where he wanted to. But certainly seems like the situations are a little bit calm just for a while, though.
I mean, KSX, they had the players positioned in different compounds, and they did see the players of XCVS really come in, but not really, taking the fight in a proper manner, just rather sitting still. And XCVS, they were charging as a 4-man squad, so they certainly had the numbers advantage, and they managed to, just go off with it. But SLX Ironic taking a fall over there. We've seen IPG4 ARC going down in the previous air fights. We've seen ALxK9 down. So considering the fact that 3 teams are already out and one of the teams is not playing, so the numbers are of course reducing, giving enough time and space for the players to kind of breathe inside the game.
This zone shift is actually really good this time, it is actually covering the most of the land inside the initial zone. But certainly this time, taking a look at Exentric, they did manage to completely wipe out the existence over there of Ironic. But now this, the rotation is certainly going to be interesting to see, because Marshall certainly has heard them taking that fight as well, and he is going to be contesting that area. Does have his eyes onto it. But now just take a look at the Gods Reborn overall rotation coming in as well. From the complete left side, it's going to be Camp Alpha side. And there are just so many teams in the nearby vicinity. It's going to be KSX and Avon 1952 and even IPGX right in the over there. And it seems like, yep, the fight is going to be breaking down between Avon 1952. They just have such a massive high ground advantage over here. But Tofik taking a little bit of shots in the process as well from the members of IPGX. But, yeah, certainly it seems like it's just going to be a little bit of stare down for a while, because they certainly do not want to get eliminated early off. Yeah,
that they certainly do not want to be. But KSX, I mean, I'm kind of feeling bad for these lads. They've come in so far. They've, after that first disappointing day performance, they have been consistent throughout. They've been honest and with their grind, and not just in this tournament, even in the previous tournaments that they have played in. And this is not the first time they're playing in the PMCO. So you would expect, this team to finally make it to the PMPL. But if they do not, play out, if they do not put their hearts in, if they do not survive longer, then things are going to be completely going down. But by the looks of it, AGT9 are not really paying attention as onto which the players of KSX. And this is again another fallacy that I've really spotted in this team, because you're just hiding in your compounds. You're not getting any information. You're not really knowing which team is where. Had the players of KSX got that extra vision over here, they could have easily taken down 1 or 2 players of AGT9 over here from the backlines.
Indeed, of course, the backline is the main important factor in each and every single fight. And each and every single team also needs to have those backlines secured for themselves as well. As we all know, we should always have our eyes on the backlines as well. As we take a look at Marshall, also falling down in flank somewhere, down a little bit. But certainly, now the push is coming through from Gods Reborn onto KSX. Does realize that there might be someone nearby, but no, it doesn't really seem like it. They are not really pushing into them, of course. I mean, KSX are just so quiet and just holding off those corners, but are they going to be striking out SLX God's Reborn, though, if they find a real good opportunity?
I mean, right now, what they should have done is stick as a two-man squad. Oh, yes, God's Reborn finally going in. And they are patching themselves up. Seems like
they have no clue.
They still have no clue. And, you know, this is where KSX, had they been together, they could have, you know, formed a very good crossfire angle. You know, kind of try to deny entry of the players of God's Reborn. And this is the fight that they should have really taken. And if they can wipe out God's Reborn from over here, then it's done. You know, half of their work is done. They cannot make sure that, they need to make sure that God's Reborn do not walk off with a big number of kills.
Indeed, but now in the process, XCVS Yuri going down. But now another knockout coming in. It's going to be on to INES, Newty, and certainly it's going to be the Rolex going to be putting in things for Newty over there for INES. But now, how is Gajor going to be turning situation out in his favor? This is going to be interesting to see. Clutch, of course, one of the good mans to show up for INES as well. But certainly the Reds might be coming in through over there from Gajor. But is he going to be safe for a long time? Now, it certainly seems like Newty is going to be back up on his feet, but Newty certainly needs to back off and heal himself. Yep, exactly. This is what I was talking about. This was going to be happening anytime soon, but now it's all down to Gajara and Clutch. Are they going to be able to clutch the situation? It's going to be interesting to see because Logwood certainly has the man advantage, but now Salu from the back lines is the hero player.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, that's his role for his squad, and he's doing a pretty good job at that. He's ensuring that none of the players of Log 1, you know, do take that extra higher peak. And there you can see all those nades going out from Gajor's side, who has got that flank angle, you know. Now Salu Whitey, he needs to make an entry inside the circle, and this is where the revivals have come in. The players have healed up, giving him enough room and space to do so. But look at Log 1's Kraken. He's right in the center of things. A1 1952 have managed to take the TBD top position, the position that they so long wanted. But look at God's Reborn and KSX.
The zone
and
shift.
Look at the zone shift. It's completely, you know, changed, completely going to the northern side. And this is where ERZxTRZ maybe might be able to get that chicken which they have been longing for so long.
Indeed, of course. Now, all these teams, when they are trying to make the rotation into a circle, they might get caught off guard in those open grounds, and there is not really that much cover left in those initial late-game zones as well. But now, Jerry over here, of course, one of the lethal men that XCVS has to offer, but this time, is he certainly going to be able to wake up, though? He needs to wake up as we take a look at Co-op back in the open, taking a little bit of fire from Jerry, but certainly is going to be safe as the other members from God's Reborn are going to be dishing out a lot of damage onto Jerry as well. His HP is going down slowly, and Jerry finally getting knocked out. But his teammates certainly don't really seem to care because they really need to make the rotation inside the circle. And of course, as early you is going to make it, it's going to be that better. Now, Taban, just take a look at this man just swimming inside. And of course, no one is going to be knowing his position as long as he decides to give a little bit of sound cues. But now it certainly seems like the fight between INES and Log 1 is going to be continuing, and Clutch going to be clutching it out against that fight over there. But now certainly making his way back onto Samik, doesn't want to finish that kill over there. And certainly the finish will be coming in through anytime soon. And it's just going to be, he thought that he's actually behind the tree. But over there, yep, exactly. The finish is coming in through. Clutch taking a little bit of damage while he was trying his best to finish as well. But now INES, certainly if they are going to be keeping on moving in the same direction, they are going to be meeting Blood Legion. And that fight might be an iconic fight to witness.
Yeah, that certainly will be. But looking at White Cat, beautiful nade coming out from the slot, taking down Gyro over here, and they know who they are up against right now. They need to be extra careful. They need to have all their men stationed over here to deal with the wrath of Blood Legion, and they're doing a pretty good job at that, to be honest.
Indeed, they're doing a fantastic job. Now, ERZxTRZ certainly is thriving in these situations because they do have that zone in their favor as well. Now, this is when ERZxTRZ is going to be showing off their wrists, and how are they going to be playing over here? Now, certainly they are just holding those grounds, holding those late grounds, and just take a look at Rayan as well. Now seems like Rare does realize onto his position, going to be throwing a little bit of nade, certainly not going to be able to connect onto him. Rayan just going to be using that first aid, trying his best to survive out the zone as well. But now how long is he going to be able to use those? How long is he going to be lasting outside the zone? This is going to be interesting to see as Rayan is going to be popping another one, and Rare has the grenade in his hands. Certainly not able to catch out Rayan in those open fields as well, but now the flinch is coming through from Rare as well, but certainly does realize that going outside the zone might be a little bit of stupidity to play coming in, but certainly Rayan was just down to such low HP that so One bullet was just enough to take him down as well. But now Rare going to be patching himself back up as we keep on taking a look at Blood Legions getting eliminated. Now Lock 1, ERZxTRZ, certainly they are looking in really good phases as well. But now overall situation in the entire game, there are still 5 teams live and 12 people alive as well. How are things going to be going in favor? Of course, Avon 1952, one of the crucial teams to watch out for.
I mean, right now, what Red did was a pretty bold move, and I respect it, considering he needed to make sure that he got Ryan out of the equation, because we know how deadly that player can be if he survives from the backlines. And Whitecat taking quite some heavy damage. His helmet completely popping off over there, but he still, survives to live for a few more moments over here, as Tawfiq will get Kraken out of the equation, as nobody is really inside the circle. But this might be a chicken going in for the boys from A1 1952. 8 kills already, and making their way inside the circle. This is what they wanted. This might just be the game where they make that comeback for themselves.
I mean, indeed, Chico is going to be one of those small persons who's going to be just annoying them each and every single time from the backlines as well. But now Chico does have that little bit of cover from the Rock going in for himself. But just take a look at the overall scenario perspective. Now, how are things turning it out? Of course, Magneto going to be going down in the open ground as well. And it's going to be Rare to take him down as well. But now the res might be coming through from one of the members from Avon as well. But now Tufik also taking so much damage in the process. Now, ERZxTRZ seem like they are just going to be putting in so much work onto Avon members over there, Avon, and seems like ALxK9 Yashiro certainly going down. He tried his best to out-survive the zone as well, but now just take a look at so much damage happening, so much chaos happening in those late game situations. Rare trying his best to knock down anyone from his nades. Gonna be checking those nades aside now. Just take a look at Chico as well, taking a little bit of zone damage, and the zone is gonna be dishing out so much damage onto this man. Is gonna be spotting the players from A1 1952 in the process as well. Gonna be medkitting himself behind the zone, and certainly is waiting in those backlines to contest anytime soon. Whenever he finds his opportunity to strike, he is gonna be striking onto players of 1952. He needs to capitalize those kills for himself, and now the entire squad of Avon is just right in front of his eyes, and it's only down when he's going to be striking it in. And now Chico seems like he will be going down the zone as well, and it's going to be Avon 1952 taking the chicken dinner in their hands.
Yes, wow, I mean, that's phenomenal coming out from these players. You've got 12 kills, chicken dinner going on for the boys of A1. And right from the very moment, if you see that circle going west, whichever team is present over there, I mean, you can call the shots. But ERZxTRZ, not really shallow this one this time around. They've gotten that second spot in terms of, I think, overall standing, because they've engaged in quite some battles over there. Overall coming third, but long one. Again, maintaining that consistent run, maintaining that they know how to survive. So things are going to get even more tricky. But right now, God's Reborn and KSX, that early exit, how much has it hampered them? But let's take a look at the MVP over here. Who's that one player going to be? That's going to be Magneto, of course. 5 kills for himself.
Indeed, Magneto showing an absolute phenomenal performance in those late game situations. Of course, going to be able to secure 636 damage and even 161 only healing done. Beautiful plays coming from this man as well. But now overall situation for God's Reborn might be looking a little bit wavy over there, because just the overall performance they are showing, even in those first game and second games, I really feel like they might just lose their position.
Anything can possibly happen, but before that, let's take a look at the top players. And this Sanhok game was really interesting, considering the fact as to how all these teams did play. So Magneto, Tawfiq, B1 and 1v4 managing to get those kills respectively for the team. B1, look at his damage and his kill numbers. I mean, he's been doing that. He's been putting that extra effort, but that certainly has not been enough.
Indeed, that certainly would not be enough, though. But now IPGX certainly one of the teams that is on those bottom lines as well, trying their best to, come back up on top. Certainly it's not going to be easy, as taking the fact into consideration that it's only 2 more games left.
Yeah. 2 more games remaining, and I think after this we will have an even better picture. But right now, let's take a look at match summary. And I mean, you've got to talk about KSX over here. That blunder, placing all their squad players in different compounds, being individually picked up. They even had a chance where they could have gone after God's Reborn, but they still decided to be silent. I mean, that's the pressure racking up on you. As we take a look at the match summary, we've got quite some decent numbers coming up with Sabik really going bonkers with that 300-meter kill. So finally, I mean, usually you see that average somewhere around 150 to 200 meters. 300 is pretty much a large number. We do not see that 300 mark even being crossed in either in Miramar or Erangel.
Yeah, sometimes we don't see those 300 mark being crossed over there, but certainly getting back to the situation that God's Reborn has put themselves in. Now, next map is really going to be crucial for them. They will need to try their best to, do at least better or try to contest those top 3 positioning points.
Yeah, of course, and we'll get us even more clear picture as the match rankings do come up as to how they have all performed. So this is where Log1 have managed to secure 14 points, and God's Reborn getting that 16 points despite the fact that they placed at the 4th position. That's pretty understandable, but those 8 kills are certainly going to help their cause, and this is where things are starting to get really intense and serious because now Log1 has also entered the competition. But KSX, they certainly are not looking anywhere in the top 8. So as we move along further, down below, as we take a look over here, KSX just 2 points. I mean, I think this is the game changer for them. This might just, kind of break things. And the only respite that they can get is in Miramar. Because after that, in Erangel, we know those final games of Erangel completely go bonkers in terms of how teams really approach that. Teams kind of completely go, completely go carefree in those matches. So we cannot really rely on all these teams. But let's head on into the Oppo moments and see how this beautiful map of Sanhok did come out.
Yep, the early elimination panning out for Blood Legion there. Of course, managing to secure that first kill on a player like Dominic is going to be changing things so much for Blood Legions, because each and every single player for Blood Legion is actually just a decimation, and each and every single player from Blood Legion has the equal hand in each and every single moment there. But this was, of course, situation where completely mistakes were made from heaven there, and he just caught off guard. And this fight, this was a really good fight coming in from Log1 as well. Now, just the overall situation when they turned everything out in their favor as well. But certainly, INES was able to capitalize onto them and tackle them down, while there was a little bit of spacing were created from them as well. But so now this was overall Log1 Chico in the end, just in the back lines trying to survive his best, but certainly the zone just did so much damage. But now keeping my focus a little bit onto ALxK9 over here, KSX over here. So I mean, overall, as we all know, like, things are really going to be shaky. And at this point, I really feel like their position might get contested by A1.
I mean, A1 1952, now we've got even the boys from Log1, and already God's Reborn is pretty much over there. INES is also enjoying that cushion that they've built for themselves. I mean, they've been consistent, they've been playing well. So again, 2 kills and a decent position has ensured them that they get that constant flow of the points going through. But as we move along further, as once the overall standings do show up, we'll have an even more clearer picture. And there you go. God's Reborn are kind of maintaining that 3rd spot, but A1 1952 now they're in the tails of, and they're in the contention of the 3rd spot. And one more good game. I mean, I'm not asking for a chicken dinner over here. I'm asking for a top 3 finish with, say 7-8 kills, and making sure that God's Reborn get eliminated early on. They can do it.
I mean, certainly they can do it, but now taking a look at the massive lead by A1 there, one chicken dinner changing so many things for them.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that was sort of anticipated. And A1 1952 finally, we've seen them, we've seen this kind of performance from them in the past as well. During the group stages, the final day, they just came up, and they did manage to qualify. So yes, I think they have the potential, they've got the players. All they need to do is make sure that they do not crack under pressure over there, because the pressure is on a whole different level, because this just might be the PMCO, but this PMCO is going to lead to even bigger things to come. This PMCO is going to give you that ticket for the Pro League, and if you perform well in the Pro League, you're going to the World League and then to the GC. So a huge roadmap being set. $14 million are on the line for this entire year, and this is the biggest prize pool so far in PUBG Mobile for 1 year. But right now, as things have started getting so interesting, we will be heading out for a short little break, because coming right up next is that beautiful map from Miramar. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of the regional finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, of course, sponsored to you by Oppo Reno 5 as we head on into the Bangladesh region. And 2 more games remaining, and that was the last map of Sanhok for this tournament. This is the last map of Miramar for this tournament. What do you think? And considering how these teams are, we directly head into the games and not asking for any kind of speculations over here. So let's just head into the map over here as we can see the flight path trajectory going all the way from Tierra Bronca towards Los Higos.
Actually, a pretty solid fly path trajectory coming in here. And to be honest, if I'm trying to make those early speculations in for the circle, I really feel like the circle might be the last Leona circle. Just taking a look at the, overall making a guess from the plane fly path. But we never know, the circle might be panning out in any of those situations. But certainly, seems like it's going to be IPG4 this time, dropping out early. And then it's going to be another team, which is going to be ALxK9 Reborn this time. But overall, how are these teams going to be contesting? It seems like, ALxK9 Reborn are going to be going for the Camp of Miltar. And then IPG4 seems like they are going to be contesting that Torre Hamuda area. And then overall, there are just so many teams just dropping in those nearby vicinities. And it seems like there might be a little bit of fight erupting anytime soon, as we see 2 teams this time dropping in El Azhar. And certainly it's going to be interesting to see the fight coming in between ALxIR and even Log1, because Log1 has been so consistent when it comes to securing those survival points as well. And if they actually get eliminated early off by Ironic there, then that might be a massive water trouble for them as well. But now in overall situations, taking a look at Max, seems like this time they are coming back to the game as well. And it seems like they are dropping somewhere in Puerto. And even seems like Jerry might be following them anytime soon, but just take a look at the circle. This is deja vu. We have seen this circle yesterday.
We certainly have. But, this circle can be really, really different in terms of where it ends, right? So now, looking at how the circle has panned out and taking a look at the teams that are still in the race for the top 3 spots, well, my eyes are searching for A1 1952. They've dropped so below down towards the southern side. But at the same time, if they take that route from, even if they take that road from Valdemar and they go in from maybe Montenuevo and trying to take that northern road from La Cobreria, then they might have a pretty promising rotation. But to ensure that, they need to get those loots going in their favor. And A1 1952 trying to drop off in those prison areas, and they kind of are feeling that someone might just target them over there.
Yeah, maybe. It does make sense. You should be aware all the time and expect things that are not supposed to be happening always. So that would just be keeping up your, overall awareness on point as well. But now the rotation certainly is going to be interesting to see how Avon is going to be making. Of course, if they decide to make the rotation from complete opposite side, then that would be interesting. But taking a look at Jigsaw, seems like one member is already going down and another one is going to be falling it through. It's going to be Blood Legion this time, crumbling down early on and certainly losing players like Ryan in the process as well. It's going to be a massive disappointment.
Yeah. But at the same time, Blood Legion have racked in so many points for themselves that they do not really have to worry. So, Jigsaw getting a few kills here and there, getting those important points for his team. And, this is also a team that does not really stand a chance anymore to qualify for the top 3. And what I'm really looking out is for a few handful number of teams now. The ones that can make it, that can do it. And it's Log1, it's the likes of A1, 1952, it's ALxK9 Reborn. So these are the teams that might have the best possible chances. So we've seen the boys from INES, they still are having quite a comfortable spot. But Log1, they've been consistent. A1 1952, they've been both consistent and have been racking up the kills. But in those last few phases, had they been doing that since the first day, I think they could have easily been there in those top 2.
Certainly they could have. But, of course, it's just like try and not make those mistakes in those early phases of overall even the game and then even the positioning points as well. But certainly Log1 has been so consistent since the start. And they are actually managed to secure those, placement point overall. And just overall doing so consistent is just going to be helping them so much in the future as well. And now taking a look over here, seems like IPGX, one of the teams that is just in those downskirts as well. And certainly they are trying their best to make their way in, and it might be so tough for them because they will have to just keep on winning the games back to back. And certainly then also they won't really be able to make it on the top 3 because it's just looking so, like, you know, tough for them overall. But now taking a look at their points as well, 94 points and total kills of 56, and average damage also a little bit, you know, outstanding there coming in from them. But also a team like Ironic over there, they are also struggling down the line somewhere. But certainly if they manage to secure those 2 chicken dinners, then maybe things will be looking a little bit good. But then also they won't be able to make it in those top 3 phases. But now the real competition is between KSX, Log1, A1, and God's Reborn.
Well, yeah, you know, like we can take a look at the top 8 squads over here. So much teams are here in contention. We could just rule out ERZxTRZ. It's going to be really difficult for them. And ALxK9, in the 3rd day, they were really good, but it's just that XCvS have completely blown it up in terms of how they performed after that amazing start. And you know, it's all those nerves rattling for all these players, and that's what has happened. And now if you take a look at all these teams, you know, all these teams are experienced over here. INERTIA, we've seen a few of the players of course Reborn, you know, play in the last PMPL from INES. We've got A1 1952, another beautiful team. Even KSX has been playing since the last PMCO. So in the end, as the storyline goes, all these teams that were supposed to have finally managed to, you know, control the pressure. But KSX, the last performance in Sanhok was certainly not acceptable. But the hell's not gone under right now, because if they manage to get a chicken, or maybe a consistent game in this one, and somehow God's Reborn and A1 952 fall, so they might just be in the race back again.
Indeed, of course. I mean, what you're trying to say over here is that experience is, of course, going to be coming out on top. And certainly all these teams, yeah, of course, as you were talking about, Log1 also trying their best to actually contest on those top 3 situations over here. But certainly down the line, we all know INERTIA might be struggling as well. If God's Reborn managed to secure a chicken dinner there, they might be thrown down on the 3rd position. And then even A1, if imagine if A1 is on 3rd or 2nd spot with a lot of kills, then that might be certainly, you know, a really stumbling and sticky situation for them. And they will also need to, you know, a little bit pan things out in their favor as well. So this game might be a little bit, you know, changing turn for them as well. They need to perform really good in this game just to, you know, secure their spot on that 2nd position over there. I mean, of course, 1st position is pretty much impossible. Even if you manage to take chicken dinner, both of them, it's just going to be pretty much impossible. But certainly, yeah, the 2nd position, of course, is going to be the confirmation slot coming in for INES there, and they will need to perform a little bit better this time. But taking a look at the entire situation that is erupting, seems like SLX Ironic in a massive casualty early on this time, losing a player like Caffeine there in the process as well. But now it seems like Sixfly is going to get contested down the sides from Marshall as well. Marshall going to be aiming down over there, and seems like Satan69 is also following it up. And now it's going to be the rest coming in from Sixfly on to Satan there. But how long is that going to be the case over there? I mean, certainly, yeah, they are really safe, so they don't really have to worry about it. And Sketch is definitely there in the backlines to provide any kind of extra cover if IPGX decide to push. But seems like IPGX are going to be relentlessly aggressive, and they're just going to be making the push as well.
Yeah, they certainly are. And there you go, Sketch finding B1 in the far off fray and managing to secure that knock. But can the knock get confirmed though?
Yep.
Yes, it's Sixfly who will secure it. But right now, IPGX, well, they're kind of in the bottom order. They do not really have to worry much. They just have to, you know, they have that freedom to do whatever on earth they want to right now. And the circle has started to close in. Any single moment we'll get to see that new zone popping out, have a rather even more clearer picture as to how you know, the action is going to unfold. And but looks of it, it's kind of an even shift, a bit down towards the Surgeon side though, but still nothing much really changing. Quite anticipated, quite a regular circle shrink that we did get to spot.
Certainly. But now, overall, of course, IPGX does have that little edge going up for themselves as well. I mean, yeah, they did lose a man in the process as well. But certainly having the high ground is definitely going to be giving them a little bit of edge in the process as well. But now it seems like the fight, it might be coming in through. It's between Mefuz, YT, Marshall, and it's going to be against Satan69 as well. Satan trying his best to survive as well as the bullets are just coming in through. The mags are being unloaded as well. Marshall is cooking his nade, but seems like Satan's nade is going to be the first one to reach, and of course going to be doing a lot of damage in the process as well. 57 damage dished out on Mefuz there, but certainly just take a look at this flank coming in from Mefuz. Satan going down while he tried his best to crawl inside the cover as well, but now even there are so many knocks happening on the both side as well. Seems like Ironic are also going to be in a massive water trouble as Marshall does realize that he is down to low HP. XCxFly trying his best to heal, and of course the healer is going to be coming through. And XCBS seems like they are just going to be panning things out in their situation in their favor as well, but now getting back to this fight over here that is happening. XCxFly69 trying his best to contest him down as well. The aggression is going to be coming through. Which one is going to be coming out top? It's going to be changing the situation, of course. It's going to be Marshall to turn things out in his favor and completely wipe out the existence of Ironic.
Yeah, I mean, this is what SLX Ironic did not really want for them. Now, for all these teams, it's about the money. It's about what's on the line. We've seen that fair distribution of the price, and everyone is trying to get in enough points, enough kills, so that they can have a chance at the major or the bigger chunk in the prize pool. So we've seen it reduce down, but as much as they can get, it's fine. If they get that 6th, 7th, 8th spot, they can work with that. And of course, that certain compensation will, of course, help them, in bringing up, getting them better devices in the future, or a lot of other things,
Yeah.
So they've been grinding for quite some time. They, of course, deserve what they've earned, right? So now, moving on further, as we can see, one of the teams, that's SLX Ironic, taking an early exit over here. But all these teams, XCVS, well, we've already talked about this team. We've known how good their players are. Cherry individually was so subliminal. But apart from that, they could not really deal with the pressure. They got taken down in the 3rd and the 4th days. And as a result, they're no more in the race of things. But if you talk about teams, again, this is also one of the teams that had a chance but messed it up.
Indeed, certainly messing it up is definitely going to be a really crucial factor there. If you're going to be messing things up, that is certainly going to be making things so much more harder for your team. But now, seems like there are going to be some teams in those nearby phrases as well, but certainly doesn't really seem like they are going to get spotted now. Focusing onto a team like God's Reborn, the positioning is, of course, going to be the main part for them. It seems like they have found that compound for themselves and certainly going to be positioning themselves inside it. But now, Exentric trying their best as well to make those good rotations inside the circle as well, and they are trying their best, to keep themselves alive, barely hanging on the ridge as well, but certainly I really feel like things might just not be going in for them as well, even if they manage to secure those 2 chicken dinners.
Absolutely. But considering the curveball finally going on towards the western side, we've got the boys of ALxK9 in a very promising position. The same can be said for INES. And Blood Legion not really having the kind of a start that they would have wanted for themselves, but it is what it is, right? Gyro and Dominic, the 2 players, the 2 reliable players that are still there in the competition, and they might just rack up a few more kills. And they have pretty much solidified their first spot. We do see the players of Team Max. In fact, Ironclad falling down. I think it was IPGX that dealt the wrath, that dealt the killing blow over there. Now they also have to rotate in, and this is where the aggression really is being so evident from this particular side. Now we've got ALxK9 and Team INES exchanging a few shots at each other.
Indeed, the exchange of shot, it's going to be definitely the crucial fact as we take a look. Insane taking a heavy beating in the process as well, but certainly going to be healing himself back up. But it's going to be the INES in those nearby phases to go up against ALxK9. But certainly we do know INES do have those hot shots going in as well. And seems like Blood Legion, Dominic Bot is especially going to be spotting Shuo in a massive water trouble, but certainly taking the cover right behind that ridge as well is going to be doing him so much advantage there. But certainly Shuo needs to heal himself back up. The smokes are coming in through just to make his way inside the compound, making sure he is as safe as possible. But now Dominic also getting a little bit of shot up in the process as well. Going to be popping those painkillers, just making sure his HP is being topped off. And, of course, those bandages are going to be coming in through as well just to secure his HP as well. But certainly his eyes will be on that compound as he knows that there is a team over there and he will be locking them down in his sights.
Yeah, he's certainly doing a very good job at that. But, we see Dominic over here. So, well, they're just a two-man squad right now.
Yeah.
But elsewhere, we've got the players of Log 1 who know that they need to get a few more kills going in. But at the same time, they cannot risk losing out on those numbers, losing out on those players. Things have started intensifying out so very much that, it's going to come down. Even our nerves are rattling as to who is going to win this one out. Because this is a game that is kind of going to decide it all. Because in the final game of Erangel, the pressure is, unimaginable. The pressure is just too much.
Certainly.
So you need to make sure that you do not put it to the last game. So you do not have to deal with that extra high octane pressure coming on towards you. So right now we see that lull in the lobby. Few teams exchanging shots here and there. The third airdrop coming in. MK14.
Wolves certainly having that spacious compound secured for themselves, and of course focusing on the drop as well. MQ14, of course, in those nearby phrases for Wolves as well. If they manage to secure this drop, that might be really, just a cherry on top of the cake. But certainly, I mean, it is going to be a little bit difficult, because it is out in the open, and certainly you do not really want to expose yourself. But as we keep on talking, it seems like Playzone is going to be capitalizing on one of the Max members. It's going to be Casper, and he's going to be taking him down. Now, Casper certainly did not respect the zone in the process as well, and certainly tried to make those late game rotations and did get caught off guard from the zone, of course. But now overall situations that are occurring, seems like Wolves are going to be taking a little bit of shots onto God's Reborn as well. The shots are being exchanged between both of them, but now just take a look at the rotation coming in from XCVS and even KSX. Now there is a high probability that the fight might get contested between these two teams, but for now, holding on to my word, seems like the fight is occurring between ALxK9, and of course ALxK9 member is going down in front of INES as well. ALxK9 certainly in a massive water trouble, as INES are just looking completely healthy inside the fight as well. Danger trying his best to get an off angle onto the enemy team over there, but certainly is he going to be able to successfully do that, though? Yes, there is going to be one of the members in the compound and in the house as well, where Danger is, and Captain certainly throwing those nades, analyzing the situation that is in front of him, and certainly seems like Danger does know that there is one of the guys right in front of him, so he is going to be making those moves and trying to reposition himself as the fight keeps on proceeding.
Yeah, of course, and there you can see Merciless barely surviving with a sliver of HP. He needs to patch himself up. A medkit is certainly a good way to do that, but I believe he's a bit late to the party as he gets taken down. But Captain certainly holding himself up, having spotted down clutch. That grenade was not really where it was meant to go, and it was just a panic throw because he also knew that it's pretty much done over there. But now Danger and Captain surviving against a squad of INES who is relentless, who needs to, make that fight go in their favor, who needs those essential kill points secured for them to kind of cement the top two position that they have been holding on for quite some time. So right now, Captain is in a bit of a kerfuffle over there. Two players pushing right on towards him. Danger is not able to provide that quintessential cover fire as Kajor is inside his compound. So every man to fend for himself is the situation with the players of ALxK9. Captain still doing so much with that AKM, and the building is really burning over here. It's just standing on those furnitures. And well, there goes the shots, and there comes the knock from Salu YT as Danger, the last man surviving. I mean, he's got to make a run for his life, but at the same time, there is a chance that he can pull off some miracle over here. A 1v3 possibility maybe, but Danger, he's just jumping around hither and thither as the players of INES, having spotted out his position, are going after him. Gajor really committing in for the push. He wants to, go to the rooftop over there, but can he make it in the right nick of time? That only time is going to tell.
Of course, indeed, but now Danger, of course, Danger is surrounding him as the time moves on, and certainly it seems like INES is going to be capitalizing on his position as well. They are making their way onto the terrace as well, but certainly seems like there is a little bit of issues going on over here, but seems like, yep, they are finally going to be taking him down in the process. Danger going down, and ALxK9, of course, getting completely wiped out. But now taking a look at the kill feed as well, Jerry going to be hitting a really cracking shot with that Car 98 over there, and of course, the trade is going to be coming in through onto Witcher there. But certainly seems like SP Blood Legions are in a massive water trouble, as Gyro is going to be sticking the res onto Dominic.
I mean, right now the res is definitely gonna come up, but what I'm really scared about for Blood Legion is how are they gonna enter inside the circle with them being surrounded by all teams from every possible directions. They will have to take one more fight. They will have to wipe one more squad. But still, the champions or the champions yet to be crowned are doing fairly well. They're doing fairly well. They're getting a few knocks here and there. They're continuously applying that extra bit of a pressure, and they do not really feel it, to be honest. But which team does feel it is, of course, going to be KSX. I mean, they also have to get inside the circle with the players of ERZxTRZ having their eyes out on them, and they also have to deal with the lads from Blood Legion.
Indeed, of course. But now, taking a look at the situation overall, KSX do seem like they are looking a little bit, stumbled across over there, because they certainly need to get the rotation inside, but there are just so many teams right in front of them. Of course, Jaro is going to be the one holding him off outside the circle as well, but the smokes might be going in through from Sanhok just to make and buy a little bit of time for himself to make the rotation inside. But there are just so many fights happening, so many people are getting caught off guard in those open grounds as well. As we keep on talking, Fahim is going to go down to Sabik as well, but now Sabik finally realizing that he also needs to make it back inside the circle. It seems like his teammates have secured a little bit of slot for themselves inside the circle as well, but now they do have so many members going on in the nearby vicinity. As we keep on talking, Dominic also going down from Thunder. Exentric seems like they are putting in work this time.
Yeah, they certainly are. But right now, taking a look at what's in front of our screens right now, we've got the boys from XCvs. They're trying to heal themselves. Fahim already losing out on his life. And INES, they are going ham after every single squad that they can spot. And, well, Gajar did manage to secure that kill onto its Atomic. So now fights have, broken down every single way. And as the zone is starting to shrink in, teams are trying to make that rotation, being caught off guard. Mahfouz having spotted out Gentleman will be tapping onto his legs, but not really finding those shots. Yes, finally does manage to connect. But this is the moment where he needs to recalibrate his scope to the 6 times and then just go in with those taps. And he certainly has done that. But Log 1 Sapik will get a take onto its C-Wine as the circle slowly closing in. 12 teams still alive. 32 players doing well in the lobby. But the numbers are starting to dwindle down.
Of course, it is going to be happening as the zone's going to be shrinking down now. Taking a look at God's Reborn. Koa there, of course, is barely alive outside the circle as well. Taking so much damage in the process while the circle is just dissing out so much damage onto him. But certainly, he has none other choice left, as well as Mahfouz does have his sights locked onto him. But how long is he going to be able to survive outside the circle? That's going to be a massive question coming in the process as well. But certainly seems like Mahfouz is going to be unlocking his side and finally going to be deciding to focus on the nearby surroundings. As we keep on talking, there are so many fights erupting and so many knocks happening as well. Magneto taking a knock onto Demon there, and also Ehsan going down in the process as well from the zone. Unfortunate turn of events for Ehsan there. But now ERZxTRZ is certainly making things so much harder for each and every single team. As we keep on talking, God's Reborn taking an early exit this time.
Yeah, they certainly have managed to do so. But there you can see INES that they are trying to get their players back up online. Gajar being knocked out, and Clutch, he has to hold himself up. But Salu going down. This is spelling trouble as another nade comes in. Clutch barely surviving with that sliver of HP. No more as ERZxTRZ go hunting and wipe them out.
Indeed, now the wipe is going to be coming through, but now there are so many teams getting contested in those open grounds. Of course, they all really want to make those rotations inside the circle. But is it going to be that easy as we are talking about it? Now, taking a look at Log1 also throwing those little bit of smokes. But don't really seem like they have a lot of smokes going in the process as well. Now Witcher seems like a lot of things are not really going right for this man. He is trying his best to just bob and read those bullets. It seems like Magneto is just not going to be able to connect any of those. Managed to connect that one shot barely, but certainly seems like, yeah, he's going to be living for another day. But overall situations over here, Jerry is out in the open as well for XCvs, and now things are just looking so delicate for XCvs. Now, Jerry's the last man standing, of course, but there are so many knocks happening in the process. Blood Legion is still hanging on.
Yeah, they certainly are. And this is the best day. This is the best. up in the final day, already sitting at 10 kills, one of their players being knocked out. Will certainly want to get that rest back onto with him as Jerry. He is outside the zone, but ERZxTRZ still having that high ground advantage for themselves. On the left-hand side, they've blocked those smokes, trying to create that extra bit of a cover so that they don't get shot from elsewhere. And if ERZxTRZ come out on top on this one, already having secured 5 kills and 5 points for themselves, and maybe in the final game of Erangel, it might just work out for them. But look at Agent, and now this is surprising. This is new that we're getting to see something from Wolves from BD. You know, where's the aggression been so far in the entire tournament?
I mean, indeed, yeah, this is certainly too late for them showing this kind of plays coming in. But of course, yeah, I mean, it's better to see, you know, a little bit of competition going on over here. But now overall, seems like ERZxTRZ are also looking really healthy. But A1952 Tofik gonna be taking so much damage onto Rare as well, and Rare finally going down and getting finished instantly by Tofik as well. But just take a look at how much damage Tofik is doing to ERZxTRZ and wiping the complete existence out of them.
Yes, I mean, what a play coming in from this lad. A 1v3 when it all matters, keeping his team in bay and still in contention over here as A1952 still fight it out for the top 3 spots. And that was a beautiful, beautiful encounter, and he did not really give up. But now he does need to get inside the circle. All he can do is just pray and make sure that no one is looking at him while he's rotating. That's not going to happen, as Thunder might just spot him down any single moment.
Yep, indeed. Blood Legion going down in the process as well. ERZxTRZ, we did see just get absolutely decimated by the one-man push over there. But certainly seems like Log1 sometime over here are looking a little decent. But yeah, they are definitely getting contested from the gaps that are from below those vehicles, of course. But Exentric this time actually stepping their gameplay up a little bit. But certainly they do have those 3 players going in for themselves as well. But now over here, one of the main teams that we really have our eyes on is, of course, going to be Wolves, because they are stepping up out of nowhere. Managed to secure those 13 kills, and I mean, certainly, yeah, it is late, but I mean, it is interesting to see, you know?
Yeah, it certainly is. Now look at Kraken. They've again, Log1 have made themselves present in those final circles, have the blessings of the zone, but Team Exentric, all those 3 men charging at him. Can Kraken just hold them? The nades are of course going to come out and spawn with that free fire, but not being able to do much as Kraken.
Oh my god.
Oh, did he just wipe out the entirety? Yes.
Oh my god.
He did? How?
He did. Inhuman. Absolutely best plays coming in from Kraken there. This man is just an absolute insane, and certainly proving himself up. He is on Kraken just eating up humans. But now overall, taking a look at the entire situation, Tofik barely surviving outside the zone as well. But now Wolves, Arceus does seem like he does know that he is going to be having, but now he is just going to be outliving the zone. Of course, he is going to be playing for those positioning points as well. He does have those 6 first aids going in as well. But now taking a look at Kraken as well, the last man surviving for Log1. But how long is he going to be able to keep things live for him? But now Wolves certainly, Arceus just realizes there is one man in the backlines over there, but Tofik doesn't really want to contest any of those fights. He is just playing for the heal battle as he is popping those first aid back after back after back. Nick and Nick, time left for himself all the time, but now Circle is shrinking it through, and finally he is also going to be crumbling down onto his knees.
Yeah, but this brings us to Log1 being in still the top 2 position. Kraken, however, being the last man surviving. Yes, he's already been spotted. It's just a matter of seconds before Wolves BD actually go in for that push. Arceus and Agents are actually committing for it and shifted to the Uzi in those close encounters, and spraying down will get that kill confirmed. And with that, Wolves Black Diamond have certainly managed to get a chicken dinner, but with a lot of kills though. But we'll have to see where they are on the position points. Yeah, it's 14, not going to matter a lot.
No.
But teams like Log1 and A1952, oh my goodness, they are raising the bar every single time. Back-to-back consistent performances. I think we might just be going to the final game of Erangel, which is going to be deciding our top 3 spots. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at who the MVP was, and has to be Agent.
Yeah. Of course, Agent was doing just so much work overall, and Wolves, I mean, one of the teams that we really didn't expect to pop off this much. Certainly, they were not really able to show up in those initial days. And now, what happened? What did they eat for breakfast this time, though? They certainly did something different over here. They are testing their waters. They are testing new strategies as well. It seems like this time, of course, the aggression paid out. And certainly, Agent going to be the one to actually secure 7 kills and even those massive 1,000+ damage as well. Beautiful number coming in from this man.
Beautiful numbers actually coming out from these lads. Let's take a look at the top players. And sure, I think that Team Wolves came in hungry today because the way they are going in for the chicken dinners, I think these are the ones that are going to be satiating their hunger. But as we move along further, you know, we've got Tawfiq, we've got Cynics, we've got Jigsaw. So Wolves, Jigsaw and Agent doing majority of the job. And Tawfiq, we did see that beautiful clutch over there, completely shutting down the players of ERZxTRZ, who were completely lost over there. I do not really know what were they doing in the fight, what were they really intending. They had the numbers, they could have easily taken him down, but yeah, it is what it is. But let's take a look at the match summary and we'll get on with our conversation.
I mean, indeed, it was the Uzi just showing its magic, you know, showing
he
its
just
wonder.
got that one knock with the Uzi.
Yeah,
the rest came from the M4.
I mean, of course, everything does come down to that opening making up. Everything come down to that spacing, and then later on, it was those M4s just mowing down heads. And then I really feel like when he got that last kill, he actually managed to hit 2 headshots back to back.
Yeah, I think that's where, you know, N4 really plays a very good role over here. When you try to hip fire with that weapon, it certainly is easy. It's more controllable if you've got your buttstock, if you've got your, you know, all your attachments online. That's a very good weapon. And you know, I think what really won him that fight was his positioning and how he approached it. You know, he was always constantly a mystery as to when he's just gonna come up. So that is what did manage to get him that fight. But let's take a look at the match ranking and see where these teams have fared off. And Log1, well, 16 points for them. A1 not really far behind, 15 points. But it's the boys of Wolves Black Diamond that did manage to get the chicken. 30 points, we can say it's just too late right now.
I mean, indeed, you're not able to see ALxK9 and God's Reborn anywhere over here.
Yeah.
And certainly seems like they might be going down from the leaderboards anytime soon if they keep on continuing with this kind of performance.
And, you know, if you take a look ahead, you know, if you take a look further, we've finally can see all these teams over here. ALxK9 not really being where they are supposed to be. Same goes with God's Reborn. This is those nerves racking down. I mean, back-to-back 2 points in Sanhok and Miramar. ALxK9 might just have dug their own grave.
Indeed. I mean, ALxK9 might have just, you know, got themselves in a really massive trouble there. But certainly, it's going to be interesting to see. But there is one more map coming in. It's going to be Erangel. And we do know that ALxK9 is just really good overall planning those new strategies out in Erangel. And they are one of the teams that do actually manage to, you know, secure themselves for the late game phases as well. So Erangel is certainly going to be so interesting to see.
Last one game of Erangel, and you know, right now let's take a look at the Oppo moments as to see how beautifully this map turned out. You know, right off the bat we did see the boys from Team Wolves getting into action, taking down 2 of those players of Blood Legion, and Blood Legion, they're enjoying their own sweet time, to be honest, over here. And you know, a lot of fights did happen here and there, but yeah, you know, those top teams, God Reborn and ALxK9 really falling out. And this gives the boys from you know, Log1 and A1 1952 a good chance to, you know, face it off in the final map of Erangel. Whoever has a good position point, whoever, you know, outclass other is the one going to be going to the PMPL.
I mean, indeed, Log1 did show a really, you know, outstanding performance over there in that previous map, but now certainly the next map is going to be the deciding factor. Of course, getting that second position for themselves is definitely going to be putting them in such a massive advantage in those overall leaderboards as well. But now, the main thing over here is to see that have they actually managed to secure the top 3 position.
I mean, at the same time, you know, we've got to give huge ups to the boys from Log1. In fact, Kraken, the way he just fought it out. And this is the last this entire fight. I mean, all right. All he did, he just proned out. And nothing else. He just sprayed, and that was a really good maneuver coming out from this lad. As we take a look at the damage graphs, IPGX having good numbers in terms of damages, having those kills, but certainly not in terms of positioning. But there you can see Wolves BD, you know, 15 kills coming out from them, almost 3,000 damage dealt.
Indeed, I mean, I just cannot really forget about Wolves, how they played over there. And I used to always say that I do believe in this team, you know, especially having a player like Jigsaw in your backpack and even having a player like Asian might be putting yourself up. But certainly, it is really late, Wolves. You should have actually showed this performance early up.
I mean, had they done that even on the 3rd day, some performances like this, they could have really been in the race. But they did not do that. They were playing so much under pressure. Now, this is the true potential of Wolves that that what we just witnessed. I mean, this is a team that can really go aggressive. But let's see, let's take a look, in fact, at the overall rankings and see how things have changed and who are in the run over here. So A1 1952, you know, they are still, the sword is hanging on their heads, as we can see God's Reborn, Log1, both these teams, you know, in a real race over here. KSAX certainly seem to have just lost it from now on, and I think we can safely put them out. But A1, God's Reborn, Log1, these three teams. I mean, INERTIA, for I can also say that they have also solidified this spot. So we know that Blood Legion is winning this one out. INERTIA is going to come second, so they do not have a lot of pressure. But A1 1952, how are they going to play this down? It indeed has come to the final game of Erangel.
Indeed, this is exactly what I was saying, that Erangel is going to be such an interesting factor to see, because that is the game where things are going to be panning so much out, and each and every single on those top second to third or fourth or fifth position should not make any of the mistakes. Even especially God's Reborn are in such a crucial condition. They need to take A1 1952 down early up, or at least they would want A1 to make any kind of small mistakes. And even the team below, God's Reborn, is going to be Log1. Of course, they are in the race as well. But now, the last map is going to be the most interesting factor to see how things are going to be panning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need a breather for that, ladies and gentlemen. We are heading out for a short little break, because right after is the final game of the PMCO regional finals of the Bangladesh region. one last game, one final game, which decides the fate of all these teams, all these players, as we have all our first and second places confirmed. The third position still hanging by the threads. Who is going to clinch that? Is it going to be A1? Is it going to be Log1? Is it going to be God's Reborn? The mystery is yet to be unfolded. As ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You are watching the regional finals, day number 5 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. Before we get into the final game, a huge shout out to our sponsors. That's Oppo Reno 5. And now, Necro, let's just head directly inside the game and find for ourselves who comes out on top.
Indeed, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see. I even have a real smile going on onto my face because I'm just so interested to see. I'm just absolutely thrilled to see what is going to be the outcome of the last game. Of course, each and every single team on those top 5 position would be competing, and of course, they would not want to get eliminated early off. Even any kind of small mistakes might just cost them the game.
Yes, I mean, this is where the pressure is, not even measurable in, not even by any standards. I am really running out of the words to, describe how intense this match is going to be. And there you go. Those, Plan B, Plan C being executed over here. A1952, that's not where they go. But this time, they are actually heading there towards Zaki. Now, this might be a bit troublesome. They need to know the ins and outs of the map. They need to know if there's someone right beside them. They cannot afford those early game collisions at all. As we do see the players of Log1 not really far away from anywhere else. They're dropping off at shooting range.
Indeed, of course. I mean, dropping off a shooting range. I mean, it's like, yeah, of course, they do have some of these squads going on in the nearby vicinity. Of course, it's going to be God's Reborn going into the Severny area. But certainly one thing really is struck in my mind. But I'm going to hold on to my words and let's just analyze the zone over here.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this is a zone that is like a cherry on top of it all. Because no one is really in contention for that Katka region. Everyone's on that eastern side.
Oh my God.
Everyone needs to race it down. This is going to be so exhilarating for all these teams. Team Wolves, BD, look at them. They've still not yet taken the drop. I mean, they are, of course, heading to the military base. They are yet to get any loot at all. But KSAX, well, we've pretty much ruled them out. But A1952, how are they going to get in? I mean, every single area, every single place that has already been taken over by all these teams possible. They need to make some kind of a late rotation. They need to do something over here. Had they gone towards Ferry Pier, that could have been such an easy rotation, to be honest.
Indeed, that could have been an easy rotation. But overall, it's going to be interesting to see how Wolves are going to be planning things out. As ERZxTRZ does seem like they are somewhere around the Ferry Pier area, and they might be contesting the bridge as well. But, I mean, of course, Wolves is already outside the race anyway. So, I mean, they are just over there to make things a little bit tougher for each and every single team in the process as well. But now, overall, Max is doing kind of, they're just not doing good overall. Yeah, of course, I mean, they're also outside the race. But, I mean, it's the fight for their respect right now. It's the fight for the respect. If Max is just going to be doing really bad in the overall stages, I mean, of course, the respect for Max might be dropping down for a lot of people, They might not be, respecting them as much as they used to. But certainly, this is the fight for respect. And King is certainly one of the Max members that is actually proving his grounds.
Right now, to be honest, Team Max, well, they've dropped in onto its INES. This is the contestation I was talking about, But, it's not going to do major harm to INES, considering they still have sort of, qualified for the final stages, right? So, as we head along to the final game, we've got to ask it to our viewers, right? Who do you think is going to come out on top, on the top 3 position? Who's going to secure that 3rd spot? And is it going to be A1? Is it going to be Log1? Is it going to be God's Reborn? Let us know. Just spam your, whatever you have to say in the chat section, and keep supporting your teams, of course. But, Team Max, they are in for a hunt. They're in for a prowl. They are trying to spot out the boys from INES. Gazor, he's in the back lines. He's in that small little warehouse. But he's not revealed his position yet.
Indeed, of course, revealing his position might be a little bit of, scary part going in for himself as well. But now, I mean, of course, we did see those early contestation coming in between those Max players and even INES. But of course, certainly seems like New T is going to be on the top lines this time, securing that massive high ground advantage as well. But if INES do get eliminated early off, it's certainly not going to matter anyways. They have crossed that 200 points mark, and maybe they have frozen themselves the second position as well. As we keep on talking, yep, King is going to be going down from Max, and that's just going to be a massive turn of events for them. And another one goes down as well, as INES is just picking them apart one by one all the time. And also INES losing one of their members in the process as well. It's going to be clutch. The casualty is coming in through, but certainly the casualty is going to get healed as well. But now it's going to be interesting to see how Max is going to be panning things out. And as I'm keeping on talking, Max has been completely eliminated out of the game as well. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know. They are already outside completely. They are not really looking good. The situations were just completely ended from them. And right now, it's like INES just put an end to their misery.
Well, right now, considering how, you know, INES are playing, they are men who have set their eyes on the spot. Of course, not getting the top one, they would have all loved it, but still a chance to fight it, to regain their former glory. I think they have done enough. I mean, this is a team, you know, a lot of eyebrows were raised when they came in, you know, as the only invited team over here. A lot of questions were raised, and even I was also thinking, how are they gonna fare off without the big guns? You know, you've got Kapshi missing, you've got the likes, so many players. You know, you've got Tier not being there. I think it was just for that single game. So many players just not being there, and yet even Orochi and Yashiro did go off to God's Reborn, but somehow they've built their squad right back up, and finally, you know, they've made a statement for themselves.
It did, of course. The statement is going to get made as well. But now, in the process, the rotations are coming in through from all the teams as well. So, of course, we all know those early game rotations are going to be deciding factors as well in those surviving those late games as well. But now, the main competition, the main race is, of course, between those top 6 or those top 5 teams, of course. I mean, the first 2 are outside, of course, because INES has managed to secure themselves those spot as well, and even Blood Legion is just way far away. But certainly, I mean, the spot is going to be between the 3rd and even those 6, because even if KSX managed to, you know, secure that chicken dinner, they might get contested.
I mean, yeah, it might just get contested right now. Now, I'm not really gonna call the shots over here. Even anything is possible at this certain case. But right now, XCVS against ALxK9. So they're in the nearby vicinity. They're all rotating around. ALxK9 means no harm. If they spot a few players that they can shoot at, they will definitely take those shots. But as we move along further, now ALxK9, this is a team, you know, that was consistent throughout in the group stages. But in the regional finals, they kind of lost their rhythm, lost their flow. But Log1, I mean, they've got to go big in this match. You know, just that position point chicken dinner is not going to help their cause. They also have to make sure they wipe out God's Reborn and A1952 early on.
Indeed, of course, the wiping. I mean, of course, those early game kills, we all know how important they are. But certainly seems like there might be a fight occurring between IPGX and Wolves as well. As we were talking about this, they might get contested as they were securing that military base area. But certainly it's going to be IPGX holding their path off this time. Or it's going to be Wolves holding IPGX's path at this time. But overall, situation do seem kind of stumbling on IPGX's side over here, as Rafi is just unloading his mags onto them and dealing a little bit of damage in the process as well. But certainly Rafi is looking completely safe and healthy over there, and IPGX are going to be sitting inside the vehicle, and seems like they are going to be taking a complete new route.
Yeah, I mean, right now they have to take the waterways. They've lobbed that, you know, Dacia inside those waters. But, well, Rafi doing quite something different over here. Almost getting knocked out, but somehow will still manage to survive.
Indeed, of course, the survival is going to be coming through from the man like Rafi. But certainly it seems like Sinks is going to be... Cynix is going to be, you know, blowing up his car as well. But Jigsaw in the backlines has been spotted by Cynix over here. Cynix has some eagle eye going in this, and just the overall awareness of this man is just absolute tremendous. But now it seems like Rafi is going to be throwing those smokes a little bit just to buy himself that little bit of time. A little bit of nick of time just to get himself popped up heal and just to overall change his positioning as well. But Jigsaw, certainly in the back line, doesn't really want to peek and give his head away that easily. But there are some of the other Wolf member also. It's going to be Agent also in the back lines with Jigsaw, trying to cover Jigsaw a little bit. But overall, I really feel like things might be looking stumbly for IPGX.
Yeah, that it might be. Right now, Marshall has, of course, spotted out Jigsaw. Any single moment he can take those shots, and he's just playing the patience game. He's just waiting for B1 to get into a better position so that they can contend for that. As Rafi, he's playing through the smokes, and anything can possibly happen. But right now we have our eyes set at a different engagement. ERZxTRZ in a whole world of trouble if this nade connects. Both these nades coming at the same time, but Atomic is the one who's going to take the aftermath of it, as Death is just charging in with his AK, and nothing really happening as Mamba will get the knock for himself over there.
Indeed, Death getting shot from the backlines as well, while he was trying to get contested as well. But now it's going to be the Mamba putting an end to his misery, certainly. But now AGXT9 trying their best to stay alive inside the game, as ERZxTRZ is just charging in through, completely healthy. But now over here, just take a look what is happening. Sadman taking one of the ERZxTRZ members down. It's going to be Mamba, the big man, going down this time. But Sadman certainly wants to finish the kill as well, and is not going to be successfully able to do that, as it's only down to Insane, and Mamba Insane is still not anywhere in those close lines. Sadman trying his best to stay alive in the process as well, while ERZxTRZ is just dishing so much damage onto him. Now Rare trying to position himself. Whitecat is going to be going in the back lines, trying to heal himself. As we take a look, the fight might be occurring between Rare and Insane. Which one is going to be coming out on top? Of course it's going to be Insane, because Insane definitely had a lot of HP going inside the fight as well. He was completely on top of his HP over there, and of course looking top-notch in the fight as well. But now Whitecat, last man surviving for ERZxTRZ. Certainly things have completely changed for them as well. But now, how is Whitecat going to be panning things out in his favor? That's going to be interesting to see, as Sadman does have that nade cooking in as well. Whitecat might just catch Sadman off guard over there, and now Whitecat is getting completely contested from all the angles over there. Whitecat taking so much damage in the process. Of course, it's going to be Insane to completely wipe out ERZxTRZ. The early elimination coming in.
Yeah, of course. And AGT9, they showed some mental strength in that fight, to be honest. You know, it was kind of prolonged for a while. Lots of bullets were exchanged, but in the end, they came out on top with this one. However, had to deal with a few casualties, two of their players losing out on their lives. But INERTIA Esports, they're still ruling the charts over here. Wolves Black Diamond, they've still managed to wipe out another squads. Some intelligent approach being made from all these teams over here. Certainly. And very late to the party, I must say, Wolves. And had they done the same thing, you know, even in day number 4, they could have still been in the race. But considering where the circle is going to pan out, we've got to take a eye on towards that. Could be anywhere, could be heading towards Mount Everest. And yes, Mount Everest has been definitely one of those spots, but I think it might really help the cause of the players of God's Reborn. I mean, INES God's Reborn also much close in the nearby vicinity. And finally, A1952 finding a route and making a rotation in here as well.
I mean, indeed, it's going to be interesting to see how INES is going to be panning things out in their situation. Of course, it's going to be such a compelling factor as well. But now, overall, if you're going to be taking the control of the big hill over there, of course, it means you're also the center of attraction in the same time. But now, taking a look at the other situation that is occurring right in front of us, it's going to be between KSX and Exentric Infinity this time. And the early elimination is coming on to Shuoser there, but he is still knocked down. Crawling towards his teammate is going to be TDJR, but is he going to be able to get the rest done? That's going to be an interesting factor to see. But now, certainly, seems like the Molotovs and the nades are coming through, and it's going to be over there. Now, Shuoser is getting the res onto himself from Thunder over there, but how long is Thunder going to be able to you know, overall withstand the situation out. He does want to provide the essential cover for his teammates as well, but KSX seems like they are also getting contested, and seems like Ryan in the kill feed also getting a knock with his nade over there. But now going back to the situation that is in front of us, C-Wine going to be showing that early aggression in, and TDJR unloading his mag with the AK. Certainly the Uzis are going to be panning it out, and it's going to be KSX completely getting eliminated.
Yeah, of course, and there you go. Team Exentric Infinity coming out on top on that one. KSX, their dreams being shattered over here. But look at INES. This is the battle for the Kings. And well, Blood Legion, the first position holders against INES, who are on second. And what a place. It's like the Battle of Olympus over here that we have breaking out for you, ladies and gentlemen. But is Blood Legion going to really commit on towards that? It's just Ryan who's just holding the front lines as INES. They have all recollected themselves, gathered themselves off for the major showdown.
Indeed, but now one thing that we really want to see as well is going to be so, like, you know, better to see, because of course if we see a man like Ryan just completely changing things out in his team's favor, which is of course going to be Blood Legions, but nevertheless, of course, INES is also such a really big factor going inside this entire competition as well. They have managed to secure that second spot and even completely freeze it for them as well. But now it's the fight going on between the #1 and the #2. Which team is going to be coming out on top?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I mean, there's no chance on earth that INES can really topple off Blood Legion. That's 100% confirmed. But it's just about the bragging rights. And we have seen these two go up against each other in the past. And the numbers were almost equal when INES just wiped out Blood Legion. And then Blood Legion responded in the final game of Erangel, taking them out of the equation. So the scores are still leveled up. This needs to be settled. And the drama that has been built up because by the looks of it, the circle isn't favoring them anymore. Maybe some other day, maybe some other time. But from the backlines, we have the boys of ALxK9 joining the party.
Indeed, ALxK9 certainly making things way much more difficult than it should be for Blood Legion as well. But nevertheless, we all know how a man like Danger can be in certain situations like this. The nades are barraging through, doing so much damage. Leo getting knocked in the process as well. The nades are just doing so much damage. But now INES certainly has decided to actually change his position as well. Repositioning is definitely going to be the main factor going in for INES as well. But just take a look at what ALxK9 is doing to Blood Legions. They are completely decimating them one by one as we take a look. Also, at the same time, there are being so much knockdowns happening onto ALxK9 as well. But now, simultaneously, there are also so much knockdowns happening onto each other's side. Now the Troys are just coming in through. But now, there is one more fight occurring in front of us. It's going to be between SLX, Ironic, and even Lock1. Which team is going to be coming out on top? It's going to be a really interesting factor to witness. And now, it's going to be Sabi going down early this time.
Yeah, he's certainly going to go down early, but right now, Lock1, they are in a whole world of trouble. It's just the last player, Kraken. He needs to survive. He needs to do something because now the slots are going away. But from the downlines, we do see the players of ALxK9 now wiping out the existence of Blood Legion, and that was a well-orchestrated push coming out, and that was a well-deserved fight and a victory for them over there. But right now, Blood Legion going out of the equation, that changes nothing. But INES, you know, now they are actually committing for the push. They know there's a squad, and this Daedalus nade could be a game changer over here, lobbing that smoke grenade right out in the balcony as Dictator manages to find out C minor. This is not something that A1 1952 can afford right now.
Indeed, of course, A1 1952, if they are getting those early casualty onto them, they are going to be in a massive amount of trouble, as Deadlift is making just so much more trouble for INES to actually get this compound contested for themselves. This is the last man over there who is trying his best to hold on to that compound, as well as he might get spotted by Salu as well. Salu does know that there is someone outside there. And just take a look at that. What is happening? Accidentally dropping down. This might be game-changing for Deadlift as well, because now Deadlift is just out in the open. Of course, they might have heard that, you know, a little bit down going in there as well. Of course, there's going to be the aggression is coming through from INES. Newty going down in the process as well. Gajor going to be finding Deadlift, and beautiful spray coming in from Gajor, where they're going to be completely contesting on the Deadlift now. Unfortunate turn of events for IPG4 ALxTRZ barely surviving behind that ridge, but how long is he going to be able to contest onto that ridge as well? That's going to be a really deciding factor over here. But now Salu YT does have his sights locked onto him.
Ouch.
And certainly it's going to be Lock1 Esports taking an early exit. Now we can confidently say that it's certainly not going to be Lock1 taking those top 3 spots.
Yes, of course, but right now, as things have started getting even more intense, INES, they are playing out of their minds. The way they have taken over compounds, the way they, just pushed away the players of IPG for ARC. I mean, Daedalov did a pretty decent job, but he could not really get back into cover at the right nick of time. The cover fires with, of course, not being there. But look at God's Reborn's position. They are sitting right in the center as the circle has started shrinking, but not anymore, as A19 and 52 have the better of the zone.
Indeed they have, and this might be really good for them as well, but certainly they are out in the open as well. That might be also sometimes disadvantage of a position going in for them, but the entire late circle is just out in the open. Now, the team that will be having the best cover will, of course, going to be the one to, might be possibly secure that chicken dinner as well. But now, overall, ironic situation is certainly looking ironic as we keep on talking. The nades are rolling it through onto Sketch. Now it's all down to ERZxTRZ as well, taking so much damage in the process as well. The nades are just going to be dishing out so much damage. But certainly ERZxTRZ trying his best to survive, going to be proning down, throwing so many smokes just to buy enough time for himself to actually get the red raises in as well. But certainly seems like this time, just take a look at Sickfly, what he's doing in the back lines, in the right lines over there. He might be waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity to strike as well. But certainly ERZxTRZ also going down. But Sickfly, just take a look at that man. Seems like he doesn't care anymore. He's just going to be taking the rotation away inside the circle with his buggy, barely making it out alive as well. XCVS is just an absolute bloodthirsty squad this time.
Oh my goodness, he might have just walked up into his own death over here as God's Reborn have kind of figured out. Though. Yes, got a DBS over there to work it around. But right now, cooking up a few Krens out. God's Reborn need to hold this fight, need to take this one somehow in their favor, as they've got that best position. They've got that perfect dip to play around the games. But Sickfly taking so much damage over here, still surviving though, and did abandon his teammates, and he had no other option. He just managed to secure one sly kill over there, and look at Gentleman. He wanted to commit, but certainly Sickfly again changing his position. I'm certain Gentleman would not want to engage in those close range, but well, look at Sickfly being taken down from elsewhere.
Indeed, the late game situation is just so compelling to see, as it is just open from all over the angle as well. Now, ironic, of course, we did say them getting knocked down in this process as well. Now, God's Reborn are certainly kind of stumbling across as well, because we are seeing Gentleman going down in the process as well. But now, overall, ALxK9 position is, of course, really good, and XCVS Demon going down to the process as well. Beautiful spray coming in from this man. It's going to be Clutch to take him down, but now Clutch also going to be blasting out Demon, going to be confirming that kill for himself as well. But now ALxK9 position is just looking so bad indeed, as Gajor has been taken down. Beautiful spray coming in from a man like Texla, and he is trying his best to actually take him down as well, completely finish him, but certainly it's not going to be possible anytime soon, because he does have that tractor cover going in for himself.
Yeah, he certainly does. Now looking at Fahim, he's trying to exchange a few bullets here and there, but one shot is the one who's going to get a knock onto its thunder. And A19 52, what a beautiful position that these Lance have secured for themselves. ALxK9, they have been relentless, they have been merciless with the way they approach the fight against Blood Legion, wiping their existence out. But that's not going to make a huge change, because Blood Legion still sitting on the top. They are still your champions, ladies and gentlemen. But the third position still in contention, still in question over here, as ALxK9 finally they've decided to move after the big giants. That's the God's Reborn players, as we can see Kowa being taken, Kowa taking a dig onto its Gajor.
Indeed, of course, that's going to be happening. But now, overall, ALxK9 position is also now looking good. They might get contested from all over the side, as they are just in the open grounds as well, and they just have that little bit of cars going in for themselves as cover. But now INES also getting contested from all over the sides. It's going to be God's Reborn causing a little bit of trouble for themselves, and of course, we do know God's Reborn is one of the team that is in the race as well. But now, certainly, it's going to be interesting to see how Yuri is going to be panning things out. But certainly, no, it's going to be Tesla coming up top and coming up rich as well. But now, certainly, Yuri is going to be taking so much damage in the process as well. Now, he might get finished anytime soon, as we keep on talking. It's going to be A19 52 Tofik trying his best to out-survive the late game situation, and also the decimation that is happening all across the map as well. His teammate Magneto has went down. The smokes are coming in through just to buy enough time to get the res in as well. But certainly, is that going to be well enough, though, as we take a look at Exentric also coming up in the nearby vicinity. And of course, we all know how strong Exentric squad is over there. And also going to be taking down Manor from A19 52. Now Exentric is just causing so much trouble for A19 52. Keep them alive is going to be the main factor going in for their aggressive players as well. But now some support player are trying their best to actually get their res in. Of course, it's going to be Tofik getting another raise onto Manor as well. The nades are coming in through, but certainly not dishing enough damage.
God's Reborn and A1 1952 both not willing to give up at all, both making it to those final circles, and now we gotta see they've got all their players alive. Can God's Reborn really go big with this one? Because to ensure their slot in the top 3, they need to get a good number of kills for themselves. But this is where C Minor with that beautiful nade, and again the retaliation coming out from the players of INES who are still in contention over here. Now Topic again being pushed over, but no, he's there to retaliate. He gets that one knock, but gets traded off instantly as one shot. And Magneto, they've got to do something out, because against him is the players of INES, and it's Clutch, whom we have seen in clutching it in the past as well.
Indeed, of course, INES are doing so much in this late game situation as well. AM1952 barely surviving on their knees as well. The res are coming in through as well, but now God's Reborn is, of course, going to be the one of the teams that is in the race. And even AM1952, the main competition is between these two teams as well, but also Wolves are surviving in the backlines as well. Asian and Jigsaw certainly making things so much more difficult for these two teams to actually contest. And as we keep on talking, it's going to be a massive elimination coming in through onto INES.
And even God's Reborn bow out, and A1 1952,
has made
wow,
it.
They have made it, ladies and gentlemen. They have made it. They have ensured their slot in the top 3. Magneto definitely does fall down, but A1, they finally have started feeling themselves, making it to the top 4. All they can possibly want is that top 3 position and a few more points for themselves to ensure, to confirm their slot. And I think if we do the maths, they have certainly done that. But getting back into the game, Exentric Infinity finally stepping up in the final game. Wolves Black Diamond, yeah, I mean, this could be a very big one for themselves. 8 kills already for this team. This team might just get that back-to-back.
Indeed, A1 has made it in the top 3 situation. I'm so happy for these lads, but now certainly the late game situation is still going in the Wolves' favor as well. As we take a look, even Exentric standing still, but now overall the first knockdown is coming in on the Wolves squad. It's going to be Jigsaw to go down first, but how they are going to be turning things out in their favor. Of course, the trades are going to be coming in through onto Merciless. Of course, it's going to be Rafi to take him down as well, but now another knockdown coming in onto Wolves. How are Wolves still surviving over here in this late game situation is definitely going to be interesting to see. Jigsaw going down in the process as well. 2 knockdowns are already coming in through, and there are only down to 2 more people. It's going to be Rafi and Agent, but how long are they going to be able to all survive this entire chaos? As we keep on talking, the bullets are getting loaded onto the members of ERZxTRZ as well, but now Bad Agent going down certainly in those backlines over. C1 going to be capitalizing onto it, going to be completely finishing down the kills as well, but now the reses are also coming in through, but how long are they going to be out surviving? Of course, the knockdown players are going to get completely collected. The points are getting collected anyways, but it doesn't really matter. The A1 has already made it in the top 3 situations, and now, of course, Magneto is just going to be out healing the zone with those first aids because he already knows he has made it.
Do the victory dance. Do it already, Magneto. I know you want to do that, but still, you know, he is still feeling the heat. He's still feeling the pressure. I mean, his teammates want to seal it off with a chicken, which is very unlikely to happen, considering how Wolves and Exentric have positioned themselves. But right now, he's going after Diptoj, but no, gets spotted instead and gets taken down as we have the final 2 teams surviving. It's Exentric versus Wolf BD. Robbie being the final member surviving. Still has managed to take down Shuvo. Can he get one more knock? Can he apply that extra bit of a pressure? As we can see Thunder rolling around and taking that flank angle, but it's C-Wine who is going to get the deal done for himself and for his team, as Team Exentric Infinity walk off with a final winner chicken dinner.
Exentric finally coming out on top on those late game circle as well, but now it's certainly not going to be panning things out ever in their position as well. But I am so happy for A1 9052 to actually take those top 3 spots.
I mean, back-to-back relentless performance under heavy pressure, in fact.
Yeah.
That is what defines how good A1 1952 were at this particular moment. But yes, huge props and huge congratulations to Exentric Infinity to really play their hearts out. Let's take a look at the MVP and see for ourselves who's going to be. It's definitely going to be Rafi.
Yep.
I mean, had Wolves done the same thing that they did today in those final days, I mean, they would have been a major contender for the title, of course. But, you know, now that Exentric have managed to secure that chicken, they've managed to secure that extra the 7th spot in the overall standings, I think that means some extra cash.
Indeed, that does mean, but now overall, Rafi, this man was just stepping it up so much, and he was making things so much more harder than it should be for even God's Reborn, but at the same time, even Avon 1952, but certainly Avon 1952 coming out on top. But now, for example, let's just focus on to this man's stats for a while. 6 kills, 993 damage dealt as well. Beautiful stuff coming from this man as well.
Yeah, of course. As we move along further, I really want to see who the top players are, because this was a kill-heavy game. Roffy, C-Wine, Clutch, Insane, everybody, you know, just putting their hearts out over there. C-Wine getting those 7 kills. Of course, Roffy, in terms of those damage being dealt, we did see Team Wolves doing so well. But eventually, in the end, A1 1952, the way they held themselves up, same can be said for INES. But Blood Legion really not again having a good day. But they did everything right in the in the first few days that they had to. So kind of solidifying their spot. Of course, would be sad about the fact that they could not reach the 300 mark, but it's okay. PMPL ticket has already been booked for them. Let's take a look at the match summary and find for ourselves how this match went off.
I mean, of course, the PMPL ticket was the main focus over here from all these teams, but certainly Wolves seems like they are going to be the dominating one in the match summary over here. And certainly C1 with the highest skill. This man was just so relentless, C1 over there in the end. But certainly, I mean, Exentric wasn't really able to show up in their past day. Of course, in the first and in those early phases, Exentric was actually one of the strongest team as well. Yeah. But then later on, they just started taking the steps for the downhill as well. But then now in the end day, coming out on top like this is of course a really happy moment coming in, but also at the same time, Exentric fans might be a little disappointed that they stepped up their gameplay in the last match.
Yeah, I mean, the fans will definitely be disappointed, disheartened, but yes, like they say, it's always a next time for these lads. So maybe next time around the PMCO or maybe some local tournaments, they come out on top. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a look at the match rankings and see, how these teams really fared off. And this one, God's Reborn really feeling the heat over there, just 6 points out from this one. But Inertia and A1 1952, just look at them, 15 and 13 points collected respectively. But Inertia, they've kind of solidified their spot on the second. I do not think anyone, in fact, is going to be able to touch them. And A1 1952 after this match, I mean, this kind of brings you down where you need to grieve about the fact that Log 1 teams, Log 1 did have a very bad start into the game. They got taken down so early. The same was with, of course, the players of KSX as well.
Indeed. I mean, KSX was actually one of the contenders in the race as well, but they just got completely thrown off guard in those early game phases. But I am actually so happy for A1 to actually come out on those top 3 phases as well, because they were just showing so much relentless performance in these entire 4 games. And of course, the pressure building up all the time onto them as well, and certainly coming out on top, of course, with these flying colors, it's just going to be such an impressive performance.
I mean, considering how the things were really panning out, it was going tipsy and turvy for everyone over here. God's Reborn did not really know if they could have gotten there. They still survived till the very end, but not really having enough kills to back them up. There were certain conditions that had to be made. A1 1952, they were sitting in a comfortable spot. They just had to confirm it, right? But it was a rather daunting task for the players of God's Reborn and the other teams to really come back in. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the Oppo moments of this game and see how exciting this entire game of Erangel was. In fact, the final game.
Indeed, of course, the final game of Erangel and the last game of Region Finals as well. But now, overall, the top 3 teams that have contested themselves, of course, is going to be Blood Legion. Second is going to be INES. And then third, it's going to be A1 1952. But, of course, I'm overall really interested to see those overall standings as well. But now, for now, let's just take at the highlights of the game is over here. And certainly, it seems like over here, the situations were just panning out so drastically down. And this is where KSX got just completely contested by Exentric Infinity there. And just overall, better execution, better strategy, and just overall the presence of mind they actually showed was just so brilliant. And over here, of course, this situation over here where Sickfly just decided to completely just leave his teammates, and he was like, okay, guys, you know what? I'm going to actually go and play for those placements for you guys. But then certainly he just managed to go and just ram himself completely into the squad of God's Reborn.
I mean, I've got to feel bad for the boys for log one because right from the very start they were doing so well. You know, they were kind of the the zone crackers, if you can say, every single time having those possession points. Even they were not really shying away from experimenting, because one day we did see Sabik, go ham on all these squads. He was also in those top leaders in terms of kills. So, but after that, they could not really maintain that consistency. That one bad day, in fact, kind of led to their fall. They tried to make a comeback, and they almost did it, but that was certainly not enough. And right now, I mean, hearts have definitely been broken, even for the boys from God's Reborn. But let's take a look at the damage graph. We can see INES completely off the charts over here.
Indeed, I mean, one thing we really need to give it to INES is that just overall performance and the consistency they're showing. I feel like they probably are one of the most consistent team that Bangladesh region has to offer over here, because overall they didn't really manage to secure any kind of chicken dinners, but at the same time, securing that second position for yourself is just an absolute impressive performance coming in. And certainly they are getting those kill points and even those positioning points. But overall, of course, I'm really unfortunately sad coming in over here for KSX and God's Reborn, as they were not really able to make it in the race. And of course, it was even 90-52, just confirming their slots.
Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment of truth. The overall rankings, the final positions, the final placements, all these teams that have been fighting for since the past month. And let's take a look at that, and let's see how have those teams, kind of fared off after so many games. 20 matches were played, and there you have our top 3 slots over here confirmed. Blood Legion are your champions, followed by INERTIA Esports and A1 Esports 1952 being the third team to also qualify in the final game. And well, they deserve it. So a huge round of applause for them would be really appreciated. And yes, God's Reborn, Log 1, KSX, we got a feel for themselves. I mean, they tried. They tried
really close,
whatever they could. But at the end, it's just those 3 teams that will taste the glory.
Indeed, unfortunate turn of events for those guys, and I actually feel really bad for them. God's Reborn was just trying so much in those late game situations, but certainly their positioning was not really working out in their favor. They were getting contested from the front line as well, and even from the back lines in the end situation there. And of course, those smokes weren't really able to hold off for them as long enough, because everyone was just spamming those smokes, because they knew that there are players from God's Reborn just hiding inside the smokes, and slowly they just started crumbling down onto their knees. And overall, of course, Wolf also getting those a little bit of respectable points, crossing that 100 points mark for themselves. And then, overall, I mean, it's still not going to be doing anything, but also a huge round of applause for Exentric as well to show up that massive performance in those late game phases.
Even IPGX, they were there in terms of getting those kills, and had they, done something about their positioning, their placements, they could have done. They could have been in the top 8 easily. They did have the experience. They were not a new team coming into that, but it is what it is. Finally we have all our winners, and yes, a huge congratulations to all these 3 teams from our side. And right now, let's take a look at those individual players, those skill leaders who had performed so very well and ensured that their team comes out on top. And yes, all these teams, all these players, and all these names are definitely the ones we are going to be seeing in the PMPL.
I mean, it's just most of them is just Blood Legions covering it, and then Clutch also following it up, barely clutching it in those kill leader spots as well. And certainly, I mean, we all know how Blood Legion is in those, and I mean, I really wanted to see them, cross that 300 mark, but certainly it's certainly not needed. They were at the end, I really feel like they were just testing new strategies overall, just to make sure how things might be working out in those later on phases in PMPL, and just overall, so they can just overall pan new strategies out, and then just overall their IGL would just get a rough view of how things might be panning out in those high competition stages.
Yes, now the stage has been set. Now finally we've got our 3 players that will be moving along. And with that, we have finally come to a close to the PMCO Bangladesh region. It was a delight to cast all these teams, and we hope you enjoyed it. Of course, you can, of course, you could already, just check out on our socials and hit us on our DMs and let us know how you felt, and if you were disappointed about all these teams, your favorite teams not really making it, let us know that as well. But with that being said, Bangladesh region is finally over. Now we also have the Nepali region coming up right next, so anything can possibly happen in that as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be finally closing it off. We hope you had a great time. See you, bye bye, and take care.
We'll be missing.